Boom! We are live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Yes, it feels like a Monday, but it is a Tuesday indeed. Hope everyone had a great long weekend. Let me know in the chat what you guys are watching. I've got Tesla pulled up on my screen. Coming up in a minute, I'm going to bring on my man, David Green. We're going to do some live trading. We've got a packed show today. Then Andrew Chanin at 12:15, Jamie Schmidt at 12:30, Christian Fromhertz 1 p.m., and then Tim Quast from Market Structure Edge at 1:40. So packed show for y'all on this Tuesday. Please smash the like. Go ahead and get it started on the right foot. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get the show started.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojacek from Trend Spider. We have a
breaking news. All right, guys, let's go ahead without further ado. Let's bring my man David Green on the stream. David, how's it going?
What's up? How is everybody doing today?
We are great over here in Zingerland. Well, I'd be hoping for a little bit greener markets, but we'll take what we got.
For now.
Yeah, so you've got Tesla pulled up as... You
Yes.
got a little bounce in Tesla there?
Yeah, just set up for a little far from moving average trade down there in Tesla. I mean, we had 10 red bars in a row, right? Whenever you guys see 10 red bars in a row, chances are we're going to get a little bit of a bounce at some point. And we did. We went up from 818 to 822. Big spot we're looking at in this one is around 809. That is our pivot point. I don't know if we're going to get down there. It looks like a short now, too, if we rally up to 829, 833. A lot of people are asking about this a little longer term, right? So let's go to our daily chart in Tesla. And you can see that we've broken all support on our daily chart. And we'll go to weekly. And here we go. So we got a nice support level coming up in Tesla if we can ever get down to this 767 level. That is our weekly support level and a very big area of support. Is it going to happen? I don't know. This whole market faked everybody out last night, right? Last night I was looking at the futures. They were down, I don't know, what, 500 points at one point?
Yeah, it looked like we were going to have a really ugly open, and then we kind of reversed at the open this morning.
Yeah, we did. Well, we reversed probably around, look, if you were up early enough this morning, guys, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you could have grabbed some spiders around 426 for those of you who don't sleep, right? Got a haircut, trimmed, looking sharp, DD. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, by the time the market opened, I mean, this was 3:30, By the time the market opened at 9:30, we were up, I don't know, 700 points from the lows. Now, we're kind of just sitting and they're deciding what they want to do. We had a lot of posturing by Putin over the weekend. And I thought, a lot of people thought this morning that, okay, whatever's going to happen, it's baked into the market already, but it's not. It is certainly not at this point. So anything else that happens from here could get a little spookadookah. We'll see. Again, we're just traders, right? The long-term stuff will take care of itself. We're just traders. And if we look at the spiders on a daily now, well, we're in nowhere's land. We have a double bottom coming up if we get there, which would be gigantic, right? Down around 422 now. This was a trade that we all made, guys. And if you guys remember when you were with us when this happened, right? The spiders went down from 480 to 420 and almost exactly hit our 65 EMA for a beautiful support line. So maybe we're heading back down there again. That would be a double bottom. And that, again, is going to be a giant spot, technically, for us, if we get down there for us to hold, because we got a big gap.
What spot is that moving average at right now?
Right now, let's just call it 422.
422.
Yeah, 422. Because you see the big bounce we got first time down there. I will probably be trying to buy some stuff down there for maybe, a double bottom. You're talking about, this is a month later now. So, but I'm just saying, if this level does not hold, then I think we got some problems in this market. You can see my next real level is 353. At 353, we're down, 120 points. You're talking about almost 30%. And again, I'm not saying this to scare anybody out there. I'm just going by my technicals. And quite honestly, if we ever got down there, I haven't been in the market for a while. If we ever got back down there, I would certainly be looking to buy any stock out there that you're looking at long term. So again, we'll see what happens. Meanwhile, we have nice volatility, right? Everything's nice and volatile. We're getting a lot of trades set up every single day, up, down, and sideways. And that's what we want as a trader, period. If long-term trend was going to be up, transports would be up. No, the long-term trend is not up. That's the bottom line. I mean, if we just look at the SPY, even on every metric that we're looking at now, it does not look good, right? Here's our daily chart. It's well below all of our moving averages. And on our weekly chart, it's well below all of our moving averages. We had this rally up to the 460 level. It was nothing but resistance, and we've come off that since then. What happened, guys? Myrna, you almost got a trade and missed. Hold on, guys. Anybody have questions about any stocks they want to look at? I don't know if you want to get the Myrna trade. All right, if you got in the Myrna trade, just be careful here.
Yeah, let us know in the chat what you guys are watching out there. We'll take some charts from the chat. Let's see. What have I been watching today?
This was a trade that just set up, guys, that a couple of traders in the room got. We watched Myrna go from 151. It just hit our 200 EMA around 145.50. So let's see what happens here. It really hasn't worked for a trade yet. And the first thing I always do, guys, when we're looking at any trades is we got to go look at the SPYs and see if they keep coming in. They're going up, they're going down. But look, the SPY doesn't make, trying to make new lows again. So we can't be in a hurry to be buying anything right now. DWAC, everybody wants to talk about DWAC, right? NVIDIA, I still like the double bottom, guys. If we get down there right around 230, NVIDIA double bottom. I'll tell you some of the stocks I'm going to be looking at if, God forbid, we get a massive correction. NVIDIA will probably be one of the ones that are top of my list. And Apple, of course, I always like Apple. But those probably be two of the ones that I will look at right away. SQ, are we going to get to the double bottom? What is it? 93.94. I don't like it anymore, guys. Let's go down to 93.40 if it goes fast. Let's talk about DWAC for a couple minutes. Yes. So I think the app went live this morning or something, right?
Yeah, they went live over the weekend. From what I saw last night or a couple nights ago on Twitter, people were posting screenshots that they signed up for an account but were still on a wait list. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that.
Well, my only advice to people would be they should have waited to buy it. Because anyone who ran in and bought it this morning off that news, it traded at $138. All right. Now here we are. Now we're trading at $89. Listen, you want my personal opinion about DWAC? And again, I'm not telling anybody to trade or anything else. I don't think the stock's worth $50 or $40, but that's another story for another time. Again, technically, we watched the stock this morning and we actually got a trade. We got a trade pre-market, right? Didn't we, guys? Didn't we get something pre-market when it's set up for us early? Yeah, we got something right here pre-market, right around 9 o'clock when it got down to 93.50. And again, guys, look at this. It held our 200 EMA. Stock went down $6 and hit our 200 EMA and went up $6 from there. So we did get a trade in that early this morning. And then we got a trade here off the pivot point. Stock smacked down to 86.50 and went up $4. Right now, it's in the middle of everything. Again, I'm not crazy about this stock long term, but anyway, it's just technicals. Right now, it's sitting in the middle of everything. We'll see what the next move is. They want to see who's real and who's fake before they give them access to the truth. Yeah. People hating Twitter, using Twitter to track DWA. Say, nah, not even close, guys. Not even close. What else we got, Aaron? Anybody want to talk GTE? I saw a couple of people post. We can talk about GTE. Let's take a peek.
I saw, let's see.
No, we're not going to talk about GTE, Jay. We don't trade stocks that are a buck. To me, those are lottery tickets. If it's something you like, you buy, you put it away, you forget about it. That's it. Procter & Gamble, I see.
Roblox, RBLX.
Yeah. You know what? Let's talk about Roblox and Rivian and AFRM for a couple minutes. Even PayPal. We can talk about all of them for a couple minutes. Go right to the daily in Roblox, right? So they had their earnings, okay? First of all, on their earnings, people got faked out and bought it up to $72, right? So this is a stock that I'm not opposed to owning at some point. We're not there yet. So if you guys remember, I'll talk to you guys about our reversal swing trade, right? When a stock is down at least 3 days in a row, especially after earnings, but I need the relative strength to be around 20. So Roblex will be something I'm watching in the coming days. If we can get the relative strength to around 20, I will start buying some stock. Because if we go back here, guys, all right, and we see we had a RSI of about 21 here when the stock made a low of 53 and quickly went up 15 points from there. So if you could keep an eye on Roblex, if we get the relative strength down around 20, that's something I'm going to start to buy. Roblex. Affirm was another one we were looking at. And it had a small little bounce today. And actually, it's right back down to where it was. Same thing, though. We don't have the RSI yet. So I have Affirm on my list. I have Roblex on my list. If we get the 20 RSI and those things, I'll start buying them for trades. Rivian's kind of in. PayPal was another one I was looking at. And we kind of got a little bounce today. And we've look how close we came to the 20 RSI in this one, right? We got to about 21. So today could have been a day that you could have started a little bit of PayPal. And you can see we're a couple of bucks off the low. So those are the kind of three stocks that I'm looking at longer term that I kind of like. And maybe PayPal bottom. Again, if the market gets a smack-a-dacka from here, all these things are going to make new lows. But those are three stocks that I like: Affirm, Roblex, and PayPal that I'd start to look to pick up if we can get a smack-a-dacka in this market here. Those three that I've been looking at. SoFi, I don't currently have a position in SoFi. You guys know I've been in and out of this many, many times and have done pretty well every time we've done it. Again, it's not showing me any strength. I'm not in a hurry to run it back into SoFi. I think it's going to trade with the market. It's going to trade with financials. So I don't have an opinion on it right now. But Buffalo, we are not in it anymore. We bought the stock at 11. We sold it at 16. We bought the stock at 12. We sold it at 14. We sold stock here, went it back up to 17. I haven't had a position in a long time in this one now. So I do not have a position. Home Depot, a couple of people are asking. Home Depot had earnings today, right?
Yeah, and they weren't great. So Home Depot and Lowe's are trading lower today, but Lowe's reports tomorrow, and I think, which I'm going to wait till after the report, but I'm interested in Lowe's.
Let's take a look. I'm sure it's down in sympathy with this one now, right?
Yeah, it's down about 3.5%.
Well, smart money would be on it going lower tomorrow, right? Well, who knows? We'll look for technicals. Let's look at Home Depot. Let's go right to a daily chart, guys. You can see we blasted through everything that had to do with daily. Weekly, we blasted through everything. All right, we might be setting up for a far from moving average trade in Home Depot now, guys. We got the RSI. Didn't we have a marker down here, guys, at 317.30? Right? Now, let's keep an eye on Home Depot, guys. Maybe we can show you guys we get a far from moving average trade set up here. So what we're looking for in a far from moving average trade, we go to our 1 minute chart, and there it goes. Look at that, guys. So we could have just grabbed some on our 1 minute chart about 317.30, and we're probably going to get 50, 60 cents out of this. So this is what we're looking for a far from moving average trade. Check it out. We had an RSI that got down to about 15 here. That's when we want to switch to the 1 minute chart. And boom, the stock just went up almost 80 cents from where we would have got in. That's a far from moving average trade. Guys, if anyone got it, you know, everything's a trade today, in and out. And you can see it's going right back down now, but it gave a nice 50, 60 cent trade. So we will look again if this thing gets down to the 316 level now. Just one of the types of trades that we look for, a far from moving average trade. You got some, Brian? Beautiful.
MRO, people are asking about Marathon Oil.
Let's take a peek. I'm sure it was doing well with what was going on, right? And now that there's not so much urgency as far as Putin's concerned, it's coming in a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I mean, the stock's been in. It's been strong the past. I don't know. You look at the past year, 6 months.
Yep. Yeah, it's been. Let's go weekly. It's been a beautiful uptrend. Yeah, I mean, look at this. You know, since December, it's really where it started, from $15. Now we're back up at $23. They had earnings. They were good. You know, if we go to the daily, look, the stock was due for a little pullback, right? It had a big giant run up. So, you know, 21, certainly 1870 would be a spot I'd look to get back into this. Down around 1870 would be a spot to get back in. AMD is a stock that we trade every single day, AMD and NVIDIA. Guys, if you're still in Home Depot, I'm going to take it off up here. I think we got like 70, 80 cents on it. That's fine for the FAFA moving average trade. AMD. Let's look at AMD. AMD got an upgrade this morning, right? Which is why everybody ran in and bought this early up to 119 and change. And with 3 points off that level. And this, to me, we're kind of in the middle of everything right now. I always go to a daily chart, guys, as you guys should, especially if you're looking to get into something a little longer term. And I don't look to get anything longer term until we're really stretched out one way or the other. So AMD got the big bop up today on the upgrade, and now we're kind of just sitting in the middle of everything as far as a little longer term is concerned. Amazon, despite the last 4 trading days, what is that, H? A Home Depot? Trent?
I don't know what just H is.
I don't either. I think he's trying to say Home Depot.
Let's see. Yeah, let's go check back in on the SPY.
Yeah, here we are. I mean, we're right in the middle of nowhere now. Look, guys, it's lunchtime. It's 11:49, right? So as a day trader, and guys, anyone, this is the last week I'm going to have visitors in before our boot camp next week. So if you want to come visit, it's dgreen927@yahoo.com. I'll let you guys in. This is lunchtime, generally between 11:30 and, I don't know, 1:30, 1:30. It's not a time you generally want to be trading as trader because there's no volume. Look at the volume in the spiders, right? You know, here's the big volume. Always happens in the first, 15, 20 minutes. And now the volume is just going down to nothing. And we're kind of just sitting here doing nothing. So usually, we had, I think, 3 or 4 trades. We actually have 1 losing trade today and like 4 or 5 good ones. And a bunch of peeps are out of here because we had a few very good trades early this morning.
Oh, Trent in the comments was talking about Hyatt.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a peek.
Yeah, Hyatt, Marriott, all those stocks have been really strong.
Yeah, and again, this got a little ahead of itself. You can see they came out with earnings, got a little stretched up. So now we're pulling back a little bit, pulling back to some of our moving averages, 99, 92. Again, I'm neutral on the stock as far as the trade is concerned, even longer term. Kind of neutral in it right now. The weekly chart looks great, right? I mean, if you look on our weekly chart, we went from 99 down to 85 and held one of our moving averages. So that was nice for a little trade. Looks good. Yeah, they all look. Well, listen, COVID seems to be on the back burner now, right? I mean, nobody's even talking about it anymore. So I think that's one crisis averted unless we, something else comes up and we get another variant or something, right? But I think that's on the back burner. Everything's about Russia right now and what's going to happen over there. And interest rates. We're going to start seeing interest rates going up in the next, I think March, we should see the first interest rate hike. I think it's probably going to be 50 points. A lot of people talking about between 25 and 50. But we'll see. No, again, no direction right now. Everything's kind of just sitting in the middle of things. So as traders, guys, we don't trade this market. It's just too boppy up, down, and sideways. We don't. All about war now. I mean, does anyone really think I'm giving you my personal opinion. I think he's just flexing his muscles, as he always does,
Yeah, we will see. I mean, this week, like you said, we've just had more volatility. It's great for trading. If you're out there getting in and out of trades real quick, this volatility is great. For long-term investors, it's tough. It's tough to see, your positions down seemingly like every day. I know in my long-term portfolios, they haven't looked great the past couple of weeks. But, how's Baba looking right now?
Yeah, this is another one. It's just a crapshoot. I want to be long Baba so bad because I think they're going to be okay no matter what happens. But it's just so horrible. It's horrible on every chart. It's horrible on a daily. It's horrible on a weekly. I mean, it's just so bad. So I'll tell you what, if I was going to do anything on earnings, just do it with options. Please don't. My opinion would be don't buy or short the stock, right? We got them coming out when 24th on Wednesday. So, no, when is that? Today's the 22nd, Thursday. So if I was doing anything, look at some kind of options. If you like the stock, maybe buy some upside calls. But I certainly wouldn't have a position in the stock. I don't think what's going on what's his name? Someone just take a huge position in this too? What was his name?
I know Charlie Munger did.
Yes. Munger took a big position in this stock, and he's underwater on that now. Tesla?
Yeah.
Let's take a look. We got a lot of people talking about Cathie Wood too, right? Tesla, let's put it back out, guys. We'll do it small. So here we have Tesla, guys, coming in pretty good now. We're trading at 820. We have a pivot point down at 809. Now, I am not a big Tesla trader because it's $809, but I have some people in my room who are. So I'm going to put a little order out there. If we can spike quickly down to 809, I think we'll get a bounce off that level. Let's see what happens. Again, guys, Tesla, you got to give at least a few dollars on the stop, right? So I put out a little marker for my peeps out there that are trading. You see, I put out 10 shares of Tesla. We'll see if we spike right down there. And that would just be for a quick trade. Look, I have people in my room that trade 10 shares every time we do a trade. And I have people in my room that trade 5,000 shares every time we do a trade. So what we're looking for here in Tesla is look where the relative strength is. It's around 25 now. So we get a quick spike down here to 809. I think it'll work for a buck or two really quick. Let's see what happens. Hopefully we get it right now. He is using lots of propaganda. Listen, again, it is what it is. You know, I don't think it's going to be as bad as anybody says it's going to be. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe he goes crazy and starts doing stuff. I don't know. That wouldn't be very smart, and it certainly would not help anybody. But we'll see what happens. Nice SARC trade so far off the load. Oh, no. So when we're looking for a trade like this too, guys, we want it fast, right? And look what just happened. We got down to 810 and we went up $2.50, right? See that, guys? We got down to 810, we went up $2.50. If we got down to 809, we would have went up to the same $2.50. Let's see if we get it now, guys. Is the market coming in a little more? Let's take a peek. Yeah, we can see the market starting to come in a little bit more now. So before we get into any trade, we always want to look and see what the spiders are doing. And we'll see if we get a bounce here in the spiders or not. They keep coming down from here. We probably go lower and everything.
Let's see.
What else we got, guys?
Let's keep the chat about stocks for now. Let us know in the chat what stocks you guys are watching. We'll go ahead and pull up on here. So let's see what else we're looking at today.
SoFi. We talked about SoFi a couple of minutes. I'm not in SoFi right now. I'm not looking to get into SoFi anytime soon.
How about Ford?
See what happens. Ford. Let's take a look at Ford. Oh, there we go, guys. We just got a buck out of Tesla. So let me show you guys this trade. Exactly. It just happened. Real time. Look at that. So we spiked down to 809. Everybody bought some at 809. We just spiked up to 810. And we took the trade. So, you know, if you had 500-600 shares there, you just made $500-600 in about 10 seconds. No, it took a little more than that. It took about a minute. So now we'll look for another level lower. What did we say, Ford?
Yeah.
Let's look. This thing was much higher. No, it wasn't. Okay. Maybe it was GE. Yeah, Ford's kind of stuck. Yeah, it was, right? Ford got up to $25. I remember talking about this last month. It got up to $25. And wow. I mean, long term, you know, if you like this company as a company, you can start buying a little around 17. I don't know what happened to make it go from 25 all the way down here. That's a gigantic percentage move, right? That's crazy. I'll tell you what, I'll start buying some Ford if we get around 15.30. That I like. We get around 15.30 in Ford, I will buy some of that. Earnings came out back here, but that didn't affect it. I've never been a big Ford fan, but around 15 and change, I would be buying that stock. You're buying SoFi here for a little bounce. All right, I have no technical reason to do it yet. And my personal opinion that the spiders are going to test those lows again.
Yeah, what was that level in this buy you gave? 422?
422. Tesla, you got $1.50 now, guys. Very nice. Good job, guys. Yeah, I think we're going to test this weekly. Again, I don't think, but it certainly looks like we're heading to test the weekly level again at 422. So if we get any kind of more tension building up with these guys, we could see that in short order. I tell you what, if we get there, I'll start buying a little SoFi back. How are the financials been doing overall? Let me just look at the FAS. Yeah, that's coming a little bit. This is the ETF for all the financials, the FAS. You can see it made highs of 155. And we got a little support down around 121. I think the fact that they got that bank charter is good for SoFi. And I think, if you have a 1 to 5 year time horizon, I think you'll be fine in SoFi. But as a trader, I'm just not in it right now. I'm adding to Uber here as I've been trading it all year. We can take a look. Oh, you get Velt.
Yeah, Uber and Lyft reported last week, right? Maybe a couple weeks ago.
Yes, Uber came out on the 9th, so 2 weeks ago at this point.
2 weeks ago.
And it's done nothing but go down since. All right, so here's what I like to ask people, right? You're adding to Uber as I've been trading it all year. Are you adding for a trade or are you adding for a long-term pop back up because you like the fundamentals of a stock? Me as a trader, even a long-term investor, I would not get involved in this stock. I like to buy stocks on strength, guys. Unless we get to a point where I'm looking at a daily chart and, we have the RSI at a nice point that's all the way down, and I'll stop buying it for a trade. NVIDIA 229. NVIDIA is one of our favorite stocks to trade, guys. It's a little pricey, but kind of respects all of our moving averages and stuff. Double bottom from the opening in NVIDIA is 229.88. So I'll explain what that is to everybody. I know we only got a couple minutes left here, right? So here's the low that NVIDIA made at 9:30, just about when the market opened, at 229.88. Stock went up $11 from here. So what a double bottom is, guys, is if it pulls back and hits that level again, odds are we're going to get a bounce from that level. That's what a double bottom is. So we'd be looking to do that for a day trade if it gets down there. The test far from moving average trade. Take a peek. I know we only got a couple of minutes, guys. We got the RSI in the test, but with less than $1 away. So for far from moving average trade, I would start looking at this one, guys, around 89. That'll be $2 away from the moving average. Mickey D's. Let's take a look quick. I know we're running out of time here.
I think McD's reports earnings, or maybe they.
Let's take a look. I'll go right to the weekly chart and see when the earnings are coming out.
Oh, never mind. They already.
Yeah, they came out. They came out. Yeah.
A while
Look,
ago, I guess.
when markets are really bad, someone told me a long time ago, if you can smoke it or eat it, they're safer stocks to be in when the markets get really bad. Right?
There you go.
Spencer, is that you?
It is me. I was going to say on the McDonald's front, I think Carl Icahn is.
Yes, he's an
He's been
active.
quiet. He's been quiet of late for the past few years, but he's seeking 2 board seats because he is not a fan of how they treat their pigs, apparently.
Okay.
So I had no idea that this was.
I read something about that either yesterday or today.
An issue near and dear to his heart, but apparently it is. So,
If we go to Mickey D's, on a weekly chart. I mean, I don't know what he has to complain about. A year ago the stock was $210. It's off its highs here a little bit, but it's done well.
When's the last time either of you guys were at Mickey D's? I don't even remember. It's probably been like at least 3 years.
Probably longer than that for me.
Yeah. It's been
Last night for me.
I love it.
Knew it. What's up, everyone? What's up, Riff Raff? What's up, Easy Mike?
So again,
How
guys,
we doing?
Look at Tesla off our spot down there at 809. Right, just made a high of 813.50. So a little patience got you $5.50 off Tesla. Very nice, a spicy milk. Spence, everything okay? You still engaged? All good?
Yeah. Last I checked, I was.
Yes.
Excellent.
Unless I missed something.
Wow, well, I just want to make sure you're okay.
No, I'm all good. Yeah. Actually, I wanted to present Aaron Bree with a gift.
There you
Credit
go.
card back. I saw all the charges on there from last week.
This is your credit card that
Looks
you
like-
left with me for the weekend.
Looks like you guys had a fun weekend with it.
I had a great weekend. Thank you for the.
Oh,
Thanks,
Tesla,
Jim.
guys. Tesla up 7 points. So whenever you see a stock, guys, just generally speaking, especially a Tesla, it had like 14 red bars in a row for the most part, and then hits a nice pivot point and has a relative strength almost 20. This is what you can expect the stock to do. So a little 6 minutes of patience gave you $7 off that trade that we did live in a room. Very nice. A spicy meatball.
All right, David. Any final thoughts for us?
No, final thoughts are, if you're a trader, you got to be Jack be nimble, Jack be quick in this market. Look at that 422 level in the spiders. If something crazy happens, to start buying a little stocks. That's what I would say. And last week for visitors in the room at dgreen927@yahoo.com, please do not forget Benzinga and Benzinga Pro. Guys, I could not trade without that. It is as important a tool to me as my moving averages are. So join up for that. I see a lot of new members coming into you guys, right? You're marking them now. New member, new member, new member. That's a very nice thing.
Those are our new YouTube members. We have we have
YouTube membership. You want some emojis of Aaron and myself? Check it out. Go to youtube.com/Benzinga. Click that join button and show us some love there. We'll add some more perks and benefits.
If you want to see nice cartoon figures of me and Peter Tuchman, go to WallStreetGlobalTradingAcademy.com.
There we go.
There you go.
All right, David.
All right,
always a pleasure, man.
For the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Have a good one. All righty. All right. How we doing, AB?
I'm good.
How was your trip, man? How was your weekend?
It was awesome. I was out in Colorado, got to ski a little bit, hang out. Yeah, just really relaxing,
Nice. All right, cool. I also skied this weekend, although it wasn't as good as your skiing, but can't all go to the Rockies at the drop of a hat.
Good old Michigan skiing.
Michigan skiing. Nothing better. It's an oxymoron.
But you enjoyed it? Had a good time?
No, it was fun. I haven't skied in 3 years, so it was nice. I almost ate it on a couple runs, but didn't.
It was my first time since before COVID.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So, anyway, okay. A lot to get to on the show. As Aaron mentioned, David Green just joined us. We have Andrew Chanin on in a couple of minutes. He is from ProcureAM. He's got the space ETF. Virgin Galactic reports earnings. I forget if it's today or tomorrow. It might be today after the close. So we'll talk to him about that. The space trade, there are some Russia implications there. So that'll be exciting. We're going to have Jamie Schmidt on the show at 12:30. She is the creator, the founder of Schmidt's Natural. You may have seen their deodorant in stores. She built that company in her kitchen while she was pregnant, no less. Turned it into a 9-figure sale to Unilever, and now she's a mentor on the Going Public show. So we're going to talk to Jamie about consumer packaged goods and deodorant and growing companies and scaling companies and what she looks for. So that'll be at 12:30. We're going to have Christian Fromhertz, the man with the plan, and really cool charts at 1 o'clock. And then I hope Tim Quast can join us today at 1:45. That's the plan. In between then and now, though, we got a lot going on. I know you had called the show Safer Stocks to Look For. Do we cover any safer stocks to look for yet?
We have not, but I'm glad you asked because I have my list.
Okay, so I'm game.
So the first one, this is not it. This is Tesla. Tesla is not one of your safer stocks. This is just one that was on my Benzinga Pro. So right now, when we have these tensions rising between Russia and Ukraine, you have these interest rates. There's just a lot of unknown. So you can see that in the markets right now with the volatility we've seen. And if you're in a position where maybe your portfolio is down a little bit, or you're wanting to take some risk off the table, one way, the best way to do that is just raising some cash. Having some cash on the sidelines.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Having cash is a position. But if you're looking for some quote-unquote safer stocks, and I say that because at the end of the day, every stock is still a speculative asset that holds risk, but there are stocks out there that I consider to be safer than others. So one that we did just talk about with David Green a little bit. So Home Depot reported earnings this morning. I'm not really looking at Home Depot. I'm looking at Lowe's, though. So here's the thing. Both with Lowe's and Home Depot got an incredible tailwind during COVID from not only an increase in new homes being built, but also in people doing at-home projects, right? People were at home more, working from home. They wanted to do, their at-home projects. That has slowed down, the at-home projects. But what's actually increased is new homes being built.
I mean, I would certainly hope so. It's been 12 what year it's been 14 years, 13 years since the Great Recession. You would think that these home builders would finally start to. I mean, we don't have enough homes in this country. Straight up, not enough homes.
Yeah, I was looking at some data. This is from Axios. New housing units under construction. So even at the height of COVID, we are now at the highest we've been since 2005. And this is in the last...
In terms of new homes?
New homes being built.
Yeah,
Yep.
All right. Housing starts. Got it.
Home building, well, it's actually the highest level in nearly 50 years. But going back to 2005 was the last time we've been at these levels.
Got it.
And so, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of supplies that are used to build new houses that aren't bought at Lowe's or Home Depot. But for every house that is being built, Home Depot and Lowe's will get a small pie of the money being spent on supplies. So I think that they're going to be able to overcome these headwinds in the sense that do-it-yourself projects are slowing down because the overall trend of more houses and building is going to continue to grow.
You want to hear my anecdotal story about this? I have a friend of mine that lives in Jacksonville and was looking to buy a home, him and his wife, and they decided to start looking for a house on one day. And the very next day, they bought a new construction or a house that is being built in a subdivision that's being built right now. They said it was like so much cheaper buying a new construction than buying from a current homeowner right now.
Really?
And they literally, he told me like we talked about it on like Sunday, and on Monday we bought a house. It was that quick, and he said it was more affordable, frankly, than for like he got, I think it was a 3-bed, 2-bath, and it was just cheaper to buy new construction than it and wait. He's gonna have to wait. Although he told me they expect to have it done between November and January, and I didn't have the heart to tell him that I would take the under on that. Yeah, he said it was just more affordable. So that would certainly point to the home builders for sure. Keep going down your list though, because I also have a couple of suggestions for quote unquote safer plays. Unless you're done.
Yeah, no, that's not the only one. Okay. Jay Wright's bringing up a good point, saying your problem is higher interest rates will effectively hurt housing. Yeah, I mean, I once the Fed raises interest rates, probably new home buying will continue to slow down. Danielson, I'm a home builder and remodeler. I only buy remodeling material from Home Depot's. New homes are from suppliers. Yeah, and that's what I mentioned. New homes are, a lot of the stuff isn't coming from Home Depots or Lowe's, but there are still things that end up needing to be bought from there. I'd imagine. AB saying, have you ever discussed Ferguson? Like Ferguson, Missouri?
I have no idea what that. Wait, that's AB in the chat. You're AB.
I don't know. That's not me.
I'm confused.
But
I don't know what that comment is even referring to.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, but down my list, moving from Lowe's. And Lowe's does report either tomorrow morning or...
I think it's Thursday.
Or Thursday. So, if you're looking at Lowe's, I'm waiting for the report. And if it goes down lower, I might get in. If it goes down higher, I might get in.
I'll confirm when they report. 1 second. You keep going.
Gracias. All right, second one I'm looking at, financials. JPM, JP Morgan. This is one that I'm looking at. A, you get a nice little dividend. That's nice. B, which let me check on the dividend yield real quick, which we can do.
Oh, wait, I said Lowe's was Thursday. I was wrong. It is tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning. 2.6% dividend yield. You can find that very easily in Benzinga Pro. So that's not bad. JP Morgan will actually benefit from an increase in interest rates. So as we're waiting for that, I'm expecting JP Morgan to continue to move higher. Again, this is just a little bit safer. It's not going to give you any crazy returns, 10, 20, 30%, but
it's the biggest bank in the world.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
What is next is, drum roll please.
We have a drum roll.
LNG, Cheniere Energy.
Ooh, going natural gas on us.
Yeah, a little natural gas play. This is the only energy play that I'm in right now. And if you just go back I mean, we're looking at a daily chart, but going back to COVID lows, this chart has just been insanely strong. Right at 52-week highs right now, $116 a share. Cheniere Energy, you get a little natural gas play, a little energy play. Again, when we say safer stocks, we're not saying
not
this is
sexy.
Huh?
Not sexy.
Yeah, this is not sexy. This is not, I'm talking JP Morgan, Lowe's, Cheniere Energy. Those are my top 3 safer stock plays as we go into this increased volatility and uncertain times in the market.
Okay, can I give you my list? And this is not my list. This is just a list that I like to refer to. This is a free plug for the Dividend Aristocrats. You all know them? Aaron, you know them?
The Dividend Aristocrats?
Dividend Aristocrats.
No, I don't.
It is the list of companies in the S&P 500 that have increased their dividend for 25 years in a row, at least. There is only 66 companies that have done so out of the 500. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Some free publicity here for suredividend.com. There you go. I have no relationship to them. We have no relationship to them, but there you go. I'm talking names like T. Rowe Price. I'm talking names like Lowe's, which we mentioned already, right?
Wait, can I share your screen?
Yeah. Here, let me share my screen real fast. I'm on a different screen right now. But suredividend.com, they do a pretty good job of. Where is my screen? What the hell is going on here? I don't even know. Oh, you know why? Because I'm in a different browser. That's why. All right. Forget it. Fine, I'll do it this way. Give me 1 second. Share my screen so y'all can see what I'm looking at. There we go. All right. So, again, we're talking names like Brown and Brown, right? Church and Dwight. Boring. CHD, right? We're talking consumer staples. Those are the kind of things we're talking about. The list is available on this page right there. And yeah, there is actually an ETF that tracks this stuff. NOBL. Noble. Get it? Because aristocrat. Noble. Okay. Anyway. Haha. Very funny. All right. Dividend Aristocrats, again, safe on the spectrum of stocks, right? No returns are ever guaranteed, but these are companies that are going to pay you, and they're going to increase their dividends, at least based on their track record. So check that out.
T. Rowe Price.
Yeah, I'm a T. Rowe Price customer. Because the only reason I have money at T. Rowe Price is because when I was born, I guess, my dad made me an account there, and the only reason he made an account there is because he lived in Maryland, and T. Rowe Price is based in Baltimore, and he, quote, wanted to be close to his money.
There you go. Makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Does it? Doesn't make sense. They have branches all over the country. Whatever. Okay, moving on. It's 12:16. It is time for our next guest. Let's bring on Andrew Chanin. We have a lot to discuss with Andrew here. We have, first off, the fact that Virgin Galactic reports earnings tonight. They report earnings. They're on the calendar. And we have the fact that there's a lot going on now with Russia, obviously, and there are implications for the space trade with Russia. So let's bring on Andrew Chanin from ProcureAM Funds, and let's give him the special intro. Andrew, how are we doing today?
Thrilled to be here.
Alrighty. We're talking space. You've got the UFO ETF. We got a lot going on here. Let's just start with Virgin Galactic, and then we can move on to other things. But as I mentioned, they report earnings tonight. Should we care about that? No knock to Virgin Galactic, but like it's a long-term growth play. Is what they say tonight really going to move the needle at all?
I'm not expecting too many surprises from the earnings today. We've had a lot of delays from what we've seen over the past earnings periods as far as when they're actually going to start paying customers up to space. And I think really people are looking for clarification on a couple of areas. One, how much money do they have in the bank? Two, how much money have they been spending quarter over quarter? And 3, when are they going to be sending people back to space? So there's been some announcements as far as opening the ticket windows again, new pricing coming in at about $450,000 instead of $250,000 for paying customers, and they want to see 1,000 people on that wait list before they start sending people to space again. But ultimately, when are they going to be able to do that? I think is what people are really interested in.
I would think that, contrary to what you normally would think, but like lowering prices normally seen as a bad sign, I would think in this case it's probably a better sign. I mean, not that they've raised their prices, but if they were to lower their prices, wouldn't that theoretically mean it just opens the door for more people to afford this? I don't know.
Yeah, they've been testing different prices. So we've seen this price target move a couple times since they've initially started taking tickets in. They say that this is various research that they've conducted, and this is how they've come up with the price. And I wouldn't be shocked if the price changes again. I think they're really looking to see how many people they can bring on board. Their main competitor right now, Blue Origin, hasn't made it really public what their ticket price is. And they're very semi-similar experiences as far as your time in space, weightlessness, zero gravity environments. So, if there's not a ton of differentiation and when you'll be able to go to space, maybe, the price is the big factor there.
Okay. But Andrew, like I've got the chart up on the screen here. I mean, be honest here. Like how can anybody invest in this kind of a company, this kind of a stock right now? When I say this kind of a stock, I mean a high growth name. This is just not the market for that right now.
Yeah, this has been a tough play for investors since they've come to the public markets via the DSPAC several years ago. And really, when you look at this business, its focus is space tourism. And space tourism is an industry that really just launched and started to commercialize last year. So it's very new. But if you look at what different analysts are saying as far as the size and trajectory of this industry in the future, most analysts are looking at by roughly 2030 that this will be a $3 billion industry or so globally annually. So if you look at the broader space industry, that's less than roughly 1% of the overall space economy. Yet this happens to be the area that media likes to cover the most because celebrities are going to space. And how cool is that? When you look at the real space industry, this is just a very, very small fraction of where it is today, as well as where it's probably going to be likely over the next couple of years. So isn't really the real story about space, but it seems to get the most coverage.
Yeah. So I've got your ETF up here. UFO is the ticker. And Virgin Galactic is not a very big piece of that pie at all. So when we talk about what I think it's less than 3% of the fund as of today. Let's talk about the exposure here, because people think space and they think, oh, Virgin Galactic, companies like SpaceX doing the space tourism thing, and those are all, as I said, growth names. Probably not names you want to be buying right now. What I want to know, Andrew, is like what other kinds of stocks are in this fund in terms of other factors? Do we have any value here? Do we have any quality here?
Yeah, so it's actually a much wider range of what people would think as far as what is an actual space company. And one of the main things that the index company that we license from looks at is revenues derived from space. So certainly you're looking at the market cap of the company, but where is it generating its revenues? And that's what's really important. So if you look at UFO today, you'll see roughly 40 plus companies from around the world specializing in all different areas. So you have companies that work with directly to consumers, like a Garmin or a Dish Network, and they have some exposure in the fund. Garmin also deals with a lot of other businesses as far as maritime navigation and things like that. So a little bit more diversified than just strictly to consumers. But really, one of the very large areas of the space economy today, roughly about a third of the overall space economy globally, is communications. And that is what you're seeing a lot of exposure to in the current makeup of UFO. You have numerous companies from around the world that are communications, information technology. You also do have industrial. So there is up to 20% of the fund can be invested in some of these more diversified aerospace and defense names, but they're still major players in space. And by major, we're talking over 500 million in annual revenues from space, or over 20%, but less than 50% of their revenues from space. So that's kind of the makeup.
I'm seeing, just to name a few, be specific here, I'm seeing names like AT&T and Comcast, and you mentioned industrial names, like defense names. I'm seeing Boeing and L3 and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, right? Honeywell's in here. Airbus is in here. So, yeah, as I said, I think people hear the term space and they think, oh, this is a growth trade, hands off right now. But in this case, it's good to see that it's not just that, because
and for the most part, those names that you just mentioned are typically less than, for the most part, less than 3% each. The diversified names are a much lesser percentage of the overall fund. At least 80% of the fund at rebalance needs to be invested in these companies deriving a majority of their revenues from space. So, definitely your satellite companies and manufacturers. It's not just launch, although there is exposure to launch companies too.
What kind of exposure to Russia is there? One of the things that I think of right off the bat is, oh, we're fighting with Russia again. What is this, like the space race? But like, is there exposure here or downside risk here for escalating tensions with Russia?
Yeah, this is something that can go many different ways. And I'm glad that you brought this up, because space is something that already today is extremely critical when it comes to the military and defense, not just for the US, but for most countries around the world that are actually investing in their militaries and defense and offensive capabilities. Space is already critical. If you think about a company in the fund like Maxar, I think it's about our 5th largest holding going into today. They're a manufacturer and operator of satellites. Well, they have satellites around orbit that are fixated right now on the borders between Ukraine and Russia. And so Earth observation, surveillance, secure communications, these are things that satellite companies are currently doing today. And when you look at a country like Russia that has been linked to numerous cyber attacks around the world, cyber attacks are also something that could affect satellite networks and communications and disrupting information flow for a military. But if you look out into the future of how militaries are being built, drones, hypersonic missiles and crafts, smart munitions, things like this, including cybersecurity, are areas that militaries are already building up their capabilities, and space is absolutely critical to those areas. So it's something that's already important today, but for a military to remain powerful in the future, it's not just, hey, I'm going to buy this thing off the shelf. I mean, it takes significant research, but even more so, significant investment dollars to build up space capabilities. And going into a new geopolitical earthquake like we're seeing right now, space could be one of these domains where countries are significantly underinvested, and the only way to beef up their capabilities is by massive investment. So space is looking like something where people still truly don't understand its importance, its impact, its relevance for everyday life. But when you add a potential war on top of that, this is something where these are very, very valuable and critical assets for militaries and governments.
I guess I just really am curious to see, because I mentioned a few of the defensive companies in there, and they're kind of your leaders right now. So I'd be curious to see how the fund performs here now going forward, because it's not, the fund's not going to be driven by any one stock. But if a certain group outperforms, like if those defensive names continue to outperform, then you could see it maybe catch UFO a little bit and take it for a ride. So I'd be very curious to watch the performance of the fund here going forward. Andrew Chanin is the co-founder and CEO of ProcureAM. They've got the UFO space ETF, and I guess another way to potentially trade the geopolitical headlines. So, Daryl says, unless the war is in space, which is probably a whole separate issue, but maybe not. So
we'll talk about that next time.
A pleasure as always. Have a good one, sir.
Thanks so much, Spencer.
All right. And as you can see here, like UFO, like just as a fund, has held up pretty nicely compared to a lot
Dude,
compared to a lot of the other stuff
I
out
checked
there.
out
So-
space today for the first time in a while. I didn't realize it was below $10. It was below.
I got to be honest, and I've said this before, so I'm not. This is not a new take, but of all the SPACs and of all the stocks that had huge runs and then came back down to earth, I really think Virgin Galactic is the worst stock of the bunch.
I don't know.
Like I can't see a scenario where space.
What about? Have you seen where Clover Health is at?
No, but my opinions on the stock have nothing to do with the stock and everything to do with the business and the industry. Clover Health is in the health insurance game, right? Yeah. Virgin Galactic is in the space tourism game, which does not exist right now. It is a non-existent industry.
That's fair.
They are trying to create their own industry. Good for them. But I just can't see a scenario like let me pull up that space chart, and we can all look together. I mean, are people paying $450,000? Or let's say they cut it. Let's say they cut it to $250,000. Are y'all going to pay $250,000 to go to space for a few minutes? Sorry, I just don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Wait, so I got a Daniel Atkinson in the chat. He's the one that when I was talking about Lowe's said that, and I said this too, but basically from Home Depot and Lowe's sell a lot of their stuff from do-it-yourself, home improvement, less on the new home. So Daniel, my question to you is what are some companies that we can look at for this trade of new homes being built? If Lowe's isn't the best way to trade that, Nail is an ETF.
Well, someone asked that about Ferguson, and you and I didn't know what they were talking about.
Yeah, and it's a plumbing play.
FERG. I think it's HVAC.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pipe. Okay.
So, same idea, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, not exactly. Either HVAC or plumbing.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
You need both of those things, right? So I know it's not the same thing. I've never heard of this company before. I'll be honest with you guys. I've never heard of Ferguson PLC. Very light volume, trades 12,000 shares a day. Not very liquid. So
my mom asked me, like the Tribeca house wrap?
Huh?
When a new house is being built, like house wrap around the house.
Say it again. What's it called?
Well, the brand. There's so I always saw this Tribeca wrap, but I guess there's this other wrap that's been.
Oh yeah, the I got you.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
wrapped around the house while it's being built. But there's another wrap that I guess is like either more popular now or whatever. My mom asked me about it because she's like, I've been seeing it everywhere. I guess in our neighborhood in St. Louis, new houses are being built, and I guess all the new houses being built are using this other wrap. And I forget what it's called right now, but the other one that's not Tribeca is not publicly traded. I looked it up.
I think DuPont owns
Tribeca, yes.
All right, well there we go.
But that's not the one I was.
It's the second time today I've talked about DuPont. I haven't talked about DuPont in a year, probably.
Have you seen that the Foxtrot movie?
Yes, I have. Foxcatcher.
Well, there's two. There's there's a documentary, and then there's the one with Steve Carell.
I saw the one with Steve Carell.
Okay.
It was not a joyful movie at all. Made me very depressed when it ended.
Yeah, it's not a great story.
Okay. What else was I going to say here? Oh, T-Rex. Thank you, guys. They make decks. That one I have heard of. Chat's all over this. Owens Corning, Weyerhaeuser.
Oh, speaking of shingles, do you see Tesla officially shut down their solar shingles thing?
Solar City is no more?
I don't know.
Dude, what a freaking... I'm sorry. What a con job that was. The Solar City. What a freaking mess. If you follow that story, oh my gosh. I mean, what they were able to get away with, what Elon was able to get away with the Solar City thing, promised a huge factory, Rochester. Was it Rochester? Never happened. Bailed him out with Tesla capital, basically. What a joke. gosh. Anyway, holy cow. All right, it's 12:32. I am waiting for our next guest here, Jamie Schmidt, to join us. And so before she does, did you see DWAC this morning, Aaron?
I did, and I do have to admit I was wrong. I said publicly on this show, I did not think that the app. Well, so from what I saw on Twitter, people were able to make accounts, but you just got added to a wait list, or was like the app actually functioning as a social media app?
As far as I can tell, because I have the app, but I don't have an account, so I don't.
Because all I saw
know.
from on my like Twitter and stuff, people that made accounts, they were given a number to be on a wait list.
Oh, no, that wasn't for everyone.
That wasn't for everyone?
But it's hard to say exactly because I think everyone's experience was a little bit different. If you're on this thing, let us know what your experience is like.
Yeah, I'm expecting the chat's going to let me know in the next 10 seconds.
Because everyone's experience was a little bit weird. I know it rocketed up the app store chart yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, some of the screenshots I saw, people were in like the hundreds of thousands of their number on the watch list.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I got an alert from the App Store because remember I had joined the wait list like months ago.
Yeah, so Ashton's saying he's still on a wait list. Okay, I was going to say I was wrong. I didn't think the app would go live. But if all they did was put the app live and you can sign up for a wait list, then I still...
Yeah.
I still am holding... I'll still claim that as factual, that they did not launch their service by...
and then this is embarrassing because we definitely talked about this on Friday or Thursday, but then I forgot about it. I totally forgot about it. And then this morning, so Dennis was like, "Oh, were they supposed to launch today?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know." I didn't even remember that we talked about it.
Yeah, remember President's Day.
Yeah, I know. And after someone said it, I was like, "Oh, duh, I knew that." Anyway, how high did DWAC get today? Let's pull up a chart. DWAC got to 138 in the pre-market. Let's get off this chart. Let's go to the 15-minute. Oh, yeah, that's what I like. How high is that? 138 it got to. 138 at like 5 in the morning. Oh, man. Holy cow. I don't know what to say to that. This is a good time to plug the fact that you guys know Funware, PHUN. Funware will be on Benzinga All Access. Woo! Is it this Friday or next Friday? Let's check the calendar right now. It's going to be this Friday at 10:25 a.m. I'll be talking to Randall Stevenson, the COO of Funware, so I'll plug that more in the days ahead. But there we go. Funware also made a move today. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this DWAC here. Credit to the stock. Like it's held up really well. Like look at this daily. It's held up really, really well. Yeah, honestly, back here in November, if you had asked me, I would have said we're going to 10 or 12. But let's not forget the fact that the deal hasn't gone through yet, Aaron. The SPAC deal has not gone through. There is always the risk of that, as we discussed a few weeks ago on the show.
But they're trending in the right direction. I mean, the app is on the App Store. It's live. It's climbing up the rankings. So I guess that was enough for investors to go out there and rush to buy it today. I would love to see the short interest on this.
Please don't chase. Please don't chase a stock like this up $50 in the pre-market. Don't chase any stock up $50 in the pre-market unless it's a $4,000 stock. I'm sorry. What was your question now? You want to see what the options are?
No, I was wondering what the short interest was.
Oh, that's what you said. I don't know if we have that.
I didn't even know I was just looking at DWAC on my.
15% short float. All right, not low, not exorbitant.
Oh, also, Spencer, today is the first day I'm not in day trade jail anymore.
Oh my gosh. That's exciting.
I know.
How are we going to celebrate?
I could buy. So that's the thing is like now that I don't have to hold a contract overnight, I can look at like a more expensive like Tesla contract or something, and then sell it.
Yeah. All right. We have options. I like it. What else was on my list here? I want to hit on DWAC. I want to hit on Macy's and Home Depot. All right. So I feel like I get half credit here or maybe like a quarter credit because I was all talk, no action. I said last week that I would love to buy some retailers. I guess I still have time, right? Because retail earnings season just started here.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Macy's had a great quarter, great earnings report. Stock ripped higher in the pre-market, and look at what happened since they opened. So this is an example of how you can be right and still be wrong. If you bought Macy's this morning and you didn't sell it in the first half hour of the day, you're wrong, right? You're wrong. The numbers were good. Doesn't matter. This is just not a good day. Actually, let's zoom out. This is not a good week or month or year, frankly, to be reporting earnings right now. It just isn't. The fact that Macy's gave back all of its gains and more. I mean, it's down today. The stock is down 3%. Not what you want to see. Home Depot, let's take a look. Same story. Earnings report, pretty good. Doesn't matter. Stock's down 9% today. And it's not as if Home Depot ran up into the report and you can say, oh, well, it was already priced in. Nothing was priced in here. Look at the chart going back the last few months. Home Depot didn't do anything wrong. They just picked a bad day, frankly. Okay? But like Macy's raised their dividend, announced a buyback. Home Depot, I think, also raised their dividend. Earnings beat. I think the guidance was a little bit light, right? For one of them.
For Home Depot, you're saying?
Maybe it was Macy's.
Well, they said that they were seeing a decrease in demand for the do-it-yourself projects.
Man, brutal.
DIY.
I know, that's what I'm saying, Thrifty. Brutal. You really can't chase anything. You can't chase anything because this kind of thing can happen in this market. This is not a market to chase. Although, let's talk about like what you do with Home Depot here. So Home Depot, we are now at our lowest point since June of last year.
Speaking of that, what was
8-month low in Home Depot. Do we have any support? Do we have any levels where we could say, if you want to buy it, like where would you stop yourself out? How about there? How about at 298? That's $17 is a long ways away. I don't know, Aaron. I really don't.
I was saying, speaking of being at a level we haven't seen in a while, someone in the chat was asking about Zoom, which Zoom is actually holding up today.
I know. I've been watching this one.
And at some point, right, because undoubtedly Zoom got way overextended when it got all the way up to 500 or wherever its highs were. But Zoom is now a commonplace in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really see that changing. And so there's value here. The question is just where does this ugly chart kind of bottom out at? Is it here at 128? Do we keep going down? Is it at 100? Is it at 50?
I think if you buy Zoom, it's not just Zoom. If you buy any stock like Zoom, if you buy any stock that had a crazy rally in the year 2020 and is now giving back those gains, if you buy any of those, you need to be prepared to lose money for the next few weeks or potentially months. You could buy something whenever you want to buy it. You could buy Zoom right now if you want. I think if you do it, though, you got to be prepared to lose money. Because, I mean, I've got a weekly chart up here. How many up weeks have we had in the course of this long-term downtrend? A lot. There's been a lot of up weeks. You had a span from May to July of last year, Aaron, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 8 weeks in a row were an up week. And then the downtrend just resumed. You had 2 up weeks in a row in October, 2 up weeks in a row in December. You know, the stock has these mini uptrends, but they don't hold. Trying to call a bottom in Zoom or anything like it, I think, is a gigantic mistake. If you want to not lose money in the short term, if you're okay with that, then by all means have at it. But yes, that counts for Roblox. That counts for any stock that had a big run in 2020 or 2021 and has since given back all those gains. I'm talking about Moderna, Roblox, Shopify, Unity, Zoom, Roku, any of them, Teladoc. How many stocks ripped higher in 2020? All of them. Every SPAC.
This chart,
Roblox is at an all-time low right now.
this is insane.
All-time low. Why would you want to buy a stock at an all-time low? Do you think you're going to be the hero? And catch the bottom?
I will say the one thing is with these stocks like Roblox, when they do turn around, the gains will come quick, right? The growth stocks that get hit the hardest on the way down will also come back the quickest.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Well, when the tides turn and the markets get hot, growth definitely tends to go up faster than other
All right,
stocks.
so I just got word that our 12:30 guest, Jamie Schmidt, cannot join us today, so we're going to have to reschedule Jamie, but not to worry because we have other guests today lined up. We got Christian, we got Tim, we got a lot still to discuss. So let me just get back to her people right now. Tell her that we are not live at 12:30 Pacific time. You know what is live at 12:30 Pacific time is the Cannabis Insider Show. Well, it's wrapping up at 12:30. Oh, no, it's not. That's at the close. 3-hour difference. At the close. 12:30 Pacific time. Right here. Okay. Anyway.
Nick, I've been there buying companies that I asked myself the same question. If I know that it was a crappy company, why did I buy the stock?
Yeah.
Fubo comes to mind for me.
Yeah.
For that.
Oh, Kraft Heinz comes to mind for me. I bought Kraft Heinz, again, because I tried to call the bottom. I've gone over this a gajillion times, right? Pull up a weekly.
Yeah, Young Money. Shout out Young Money 22. I saw that too. Apparently, Joe Biden speaking at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe at 1 p.m. Spencer, we pull that up and give our live reactions to that.
Can you get us a link? Can you get us a feed of that? The Kraft Heinz chart. You can see exactly where I bought it because I saw this rounding bottom, right? Summer 2018, and I thought, oh yeah, we've gone from 97 to like I think at the time it was in the low 60s because my cost basis was like 61 or 62, and I think it was right around here. Yeah, it was right around there, and I thought, yeah, we're gonna come back. I'm gonna do it. Nope, didn't do it. Did not do it. Sold for a massive loss. So,
I mean, I think we're good to restream this, right, Spencer? Because it's a government thing.
yeah, we can restream it.
But I think it'd be fun to like watch it on here as it all together, and we can give our comments.
Yeah, it's at 1:00. We're supposed to have Christian on with us then, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, we can figure it out. I mean, what's the? Okay, just usually, it seems like when Joe Biden speaks, the market goes down. Is that like a fair assessment? I think that's a fair assessment.
I feel like it's been that way over the past few weeks, maybe. I don't know throughout the whole. How long has he? I guess he's been in office like a year now.
Yeah.
Inaugurated.
Oh, you know what I just realized last week? We didn't have a State of the Union last year. And the State of the Union is in like a week, or 2 weeks. Yeah, we haven't had one for a minute.
Really?
I think because of COVID. I'm not sure. Anyway, okay. Speaking of geopolitics and Russia and all that stuff, I wanted to bring to your attention a few Russian ETFs you may be interested in trading if this is a thing you want to do. Check these out, guys. RSX, ERUS, and RUSL, which is a leveraged fund from Direction. 3 funds with direct exposure to Russia. So buy them, short them, do whatever you want. Go look at the holdings if you want to see what's in them. But this is from ETFDB.com. But RSX, ERUS, RUSL, 3 Russia-specific stock funds. Yes, RSX is. I can pull up that RSX chart. It has gotten roasted. Doesn't really sell. I mean, come on, screw these guys. I feel like it's not a controversial thing to say. Were we ever friends with Russia? I don't even remember us ever being like friendly with them.
There was a time right after the
Cold War
where we were like actively trying to build relations.
Whatever. All right.
But nothing ever really came of it.
Look at this RSX. From 33 to 20 in 4 months.
Oh yeah, World War II as well. Russia.
All right.
Russia actually
I wasn't alive
does not
for that.
get any credit. Like the storyline that I feel like we're taught is like the U.S. came in and like saved the day and defeated the Nazis.
No.
The Russian. Well, yeah, it's like
I was taught that we met in the middle.
Yeah.
We met in Germany.
Right.
Right.
But Russia's army actually lost the most soldiers fighting the Nazis than anyone.
All right, there you go. Yeah. Again, Aaron and I obviously are not geopolitical experts, nor do we know anything about anything. We just like to talk about stocks. So I don't know. What I was saying this morning, Aaron, is I was all ready to like talk about how it was like such a quiet weekend for news, and then like Putin like invaded Ukraine yesterday, and I was like, oh crap, we're gonna have to talk about this all day again, aren't we? Whatever. Moving on.
I mean, it's just like, to me, it's like, how much of it really matter? Like, I don't know. I think back to when Russia like annexed Crimea back in 2014. Like, nothing ever. That didn't really affect me in any way.
I think about that too. I think about that not just with Russia, but with like a lot of like geopolitical stuff. I sort of take this approach where like, how does it affect my life?
Well, and also just in terms of like the markets right now, and everyone is worried, and there is certainly a chance of the possibility, right, that this then leads to, right, all major geopolitical conflicts and stuff kind of snowball, right? You know, World War I started with an assassination of an archduke.
Gavrilo Princip. But he was the shooter, right?
There you go.
There we go.
Archduke Ferdinand. But you have so
great band.
There's a chance of something like that happening. Obviously, very small chance. But in terms of the markets, there's always, you know, invasions and conflicts.
There's always a reason to be afraid.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if this happens, right, we get Russia, Ukraine, but nothing really develops more from there. Are we going to look back on this in 6 months and think like, oh, it was like the biggest deal in the world? No, I don't think so. So to not want to, you know, invest in the markets or buy stocks because of something like this going on, which I do like, we do need to wait and see. But to me, there's always going to be political conflicts out there. There's always going to be invasions. There's always going to be, you know, things going on. So
that's it.
I saw a point from someone that maybe it's just like because we've been so used to going to the news cycle for COVID and whatnot, now that this is like the first post-COVID big story that everyone's kind of latching to, that maybe if we weren't in this environment, it wouldn't be as big of a story.
Not Joe Rogan? I'm just kidding.
Right. I mean,
maybe. I don't know. All right, whatever. Let's move on. You want to do a crypto update?
Yeah, let's do a crypto update. Oh, wait, Daniel's dropping us another home building play. Daniel, I mean, hey, man, you got an open invite. If you ever want to come on the show, talk about some different home builders.
Wait, is that true, Dan? I didn't even know that. Dan says there's no State of the Union in the first year of a new presidency. I had no idea.
Oh, actually, I was looking on...
wow. I generally did not know that. I'm sorry.
Ronald Reagan started that trend, I believe.
Today I learned. All right, crypto update. Let's do it. No, Aaron, why did you do this to me?
Red, red, red.
Why? Why can't we have nice things? How hard is it to have nice things? Anyway, is there anything that jumps out? Well, Luna obviously is down less today than the other stuff, so that's
What jumps out to me?
that's exciting.
Near down 7.5%. Not a great day for our friend Near, and it's getting dangerously close to being delegated out of relegated
Tomato
out of the map. So we'll have to keep our eyes on Near. Bitcoin, we're at some important levels right here with ETH kind of at 20, getting down to that $2,500 level. Bitcoin approaching that $37,000 level. So I mean, I don't know, Spencer. We were seeing these cryptos move like over the weekend with these headlines, and it's like the same thing. Like Bitcoin to me, I guess we'll see. I guess the fear is that the Russia-Ukraine thing escalates into something bigger, but I just don't.
Wouldn't let's just say hypothetically, this conflict really escalates, right? To like a big global conflict, like 10 times what it is now. Let's say we go to actual war.
Okay.
Shouldn't that kind of thing be good for Bitcoin? Like in theory,
That's what I think too. Is like
theory?
everyone should want to go rush and buy this in times of uncertainty, but instead it's
know.
the opposite. Like we saw the headline of Putin and whatever. You can like clearly see in Bitcoin's chart where some of these headlines impact it. And I have the same thought, Spencer, that this takes away from the argument that it seems to me that in times of fear, people are going to cash instead of people in fear going to these cryptos. So we'll have to keep our eye on this as the story and everything going on develops.
Yeah, and if you want some free Bitcoin, which come on, there's no better Bitcoin than free Bitcoin. It's the best kind of Bitcoin. Check out the Voyager app. Download it. Use the offer code ZING, ZING. Fund your account with $100. Make a trade, and they will send you $50 in Bitcoin for free. That's $50 US worth of Bitcoin. Check it out. All right. It's 12:55. We're going to have Christian Fromhertz join us in 5 minutes. Have him run through some charts. Before Christian joins, wanted to do a quick preview of what to expect on the earnings front for the rest of this week. So where is my calendar? Here it is. Going to bring it up on the screen so y'all can see it. Looking ahead to tonight. Not much. We have Toll Brothers, as we talked about. We have Virgin Galactic, as we talked about. Caesars is interesting. Palo Alto Networks is interesting because cyber is hot right now. Cyber trade is really hot. Teladoc trade is really not hot, but they also report tonight. Tomorrow morning, Barclays, Overstock, Lowe's. Oh, Jumia. Wow. Talk about a growth name here. Let's bring up that Jumia chart for a second.
This is the African.
It's the Amazon of Africa.
Oh wow!
Last time I checked it, yeah, it's still single digits. Oh,
holy wow!
Hey man,
what about Ozone? Speaking of,
what about what?
OZON, the Amazon of Russia.
Oh, I forgot that company existed. Wait, OZON?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally forgot that company existed. Wow. Oh, gosh. Oh, it's brutal out there. No mercy for anyone. Yeah, okay. We can. While we're here, we're looking Melly. Mercado Libre. Hey, at least that's holding up. Gosh, damn though, that is insane. The Jumia and the Ozone. Oh,
I know. Wait, what's happened? Like what? How did Jumia go from?
Dude,
like $50 a share.
I remember I had Andrew Left on the show. He was super bullish Jumia at like $60, $50, and it's $7 now. And dude, investing is hard. Did you guys know that? Investing is really freaking hard.
Not if you just buy Apple.
No. Even if you buy Apple, it's hard. Because every time, like, I think there was that span where it's not now, but like a couple of years ago, I want to say it's 2018, 2019, maybe 2017. There was like this whole hullabaloo around Apple and the fact that, like, it was like, oh, what do they have besides the iPhone? They don't have anything besides the iPhone. They're a one-trick pony. They haven't had a good invention in 20 years. Well, their services is growing a lot to kind of prove that wrong. But there was definitely, you can't really see it on this chart, but there was definitely a time, here, if I can just zoom in here.
There you go.
Like,
I see what you're talking about.
yeah.
Right there at the end of 2018.
Well, no, there was that, but I'm also just like see all these like dips that Apple had in like 2018. Look at 2016. Like there are times when Apple was like seriously out of favor, and this is obviously this is pretty split because they just did a split in the last year or 2 years ago. So anyway, Apple hasn't always been easy. How is the IPO ETF? Probably doing terrible. Yeah, it's pretty bad. If you own growth, I'm sorry. I mean, IPO is great. I've got, ARKW. I've got, what else I've got? I've got ARKW. I've got SoFi, which you guys know. I've got Airbnb. I got some cannabis stocks. I don't even look at those. I stuck those in a drawer and just forget about it. And I've got ESPO. I think I've got that's my growth. ESPO is actually held up. Nice. I really try not to look at this stuff, but yeah, I don't know what to say about this. Not a great day for anything, really.
Not a great day for my portfolio.
Not a great day for anyone. Look, this is the market today. Every sector in the red. Thank you very much, Vladimir Putin. Interesting that the XLY is your is your leader downward. Discretionary. Huh.
I wonder, can you pull back up the list of companies that report this week?
Yes, I can.
Our little graphic.
Yes, I can. And then we'll get Christian on here in a sec. Where's my graphic? What do you got? Okay, so actually I do want to issue a mea culpa because I know this graphic is missing a few. It's missing Foot Locker on Friday. It's missing Dell on Thursday. But
what about does Overstock still trade with Bitcoin?
Not really, I think. Not really. Does it?
Not really.
Oh, Alibaba is Thursday. That's going to be fun. That Alibaba stock has gotten hammered. That should be fun. eBay should be fun. Beyond Meat, I've moved on from that. I don't really. It doesn't interest me. Does Beyond Meat interest you? Doesn't interest me.
No, I think that sector is interesting. I do think, like, as much as people hate it, it is going to continue to grow. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, the chart's ugly.
All right. Last stock that's on my list before we bring Christian on, the craziest stock of the day, is one of your most searched stocks on Benzinga.com or Benzinga Pro, is Indonesia Energy Corporation, INDO. What does this company do? Who cares? Well, not that.
What was the company Sharon brought up last week?
Was it INST?
I think so. No, that's one we had on the show on Friday.
Oh,
Structure.
sorry. INDO is your crazy stock of the day, up from $4 on Friday to $8 today. Why? Don't know. Don't care. But you want action? Here's your action. You want to find a stock that's up? There you go. INDO.
Dude, Jay Rice, I was going to bring that up earlier today when we were talking about Space and then Clover.
Yeah.
Chamath has pretty much disappeared. Well, he made an appearance, and then when he said the thing about the Uyghurs in China, and then he hasn't really shown his face since then.
Dude, let that be a lesson in following influencers.
Oh,
following billionaires.
ISPO was the
Thank you,
stock.
ISPO.
Inspirato.
Billionaires do not have the same agenda as the rest of us. He got paid. He got paid taking those companies public. Good for him. Not good for anyone that followed him, unfortunately, if he didn't sell a year and a half ago. Whatever. Let's bring on Christian Fromhertz from Tribeca Trade Group. He's not a billionaire yet. Christian, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How we doing?
We like you because you're not a billionaire yet.
That's nice. That's nice.
Well, one day soon. Keep this trading up. Keep this trading up, and then one day soon.
Right, exactly. Keep grinding away, right?
Keep grinding. Anyway, did you enjoy the off day yesterday?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, I think I was talking about this morning that it would have been a very interesting day to kind of trade through yesterday with all the headlines, and I think yesterday would have been the price action that we would have seen would have been more volatile. But I think I was kind of glad to just be kind of just listening, and of course, and then watching the futures reaction and so forth. Okay. I think it's better, that it turned out that the markets were closed for that.
Well, let's talk about that, because every morning I get to my desk and I look at the futures and I'm one way or the other I'm baffled, because either we're up and I don't understand it, or nothing has happened and we're down and I still don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I think these little types of bounces, I think it's important to kind of go through and look at your support and resistance on the charts and say, okay, if we're rallying a little bit here overnight, which is what we were doing on Sunday, which was a bit skeptical because it was just a planned meeting that they were going to have. But you kind of just say, hey, well, where could we possibly be going in terms of, rallying? It seems like right now the markets are they're trending down, right? So it becomes a little bit of different than what we were dealing with the last couple of years, where you were looking for like, okay, if we're selling off, where are we coming down to in terms of support? Now it's like, hey, where are we rallying up to in terms of resistance, where you want to either be taking profits, or if you're playing both sides of the market, be reasserting a short. And I think that was a pretty good thing. Can I share my screen?
You can. Also, I would love just your take on this morning specifically, because we were talking about it on pre-market prep, and the futures were down, but nowhere near as down as a lot of stocks, and so it has evened out a little bit, at least last I checked. But what do you make of that? Because it was just it was like there was multiple fronts that were confusing.
Yeah, I that's the right way to kind of think about it. And sometimes, it's okay to be confused by the markets too. When you're confused and it doesn't make sense to you, then you don't do anything. And when it does, or you can basically say, hey, if this doesn't make sense to me, why futures are up. Obviously you guys were talking about this morning and saying, okay, well, you could do some trades. You could short the index versus going long a couple names, that are underperforming. And, I saw the defensives that were underperforming, like Altria, which is a trade that I put on last week. I was like, oh, geez, I might actually have to take that trade off this morning because it was down a bunch. But what I'm noticing in this market too is that, we're so used to the buy the dip mentality from the last couple of years, but it seems like the buy the dip mentality is still alive in some stocks. Like, so for example, but it's the cheaper stocks. It's the boring stocks, right? It's the AbbVie, which is still up 0.5%, even though the market's going down right now. But this, to me, like, this was down on the day. And, even though if you look at this chart, it's kind of a high flyer for a value name, but they're holding up pretty darn, pretty well. So the buy the dip is still working, but in very small areas of the market. And then everything else is the sell the rip, and especially in growth stocks. And that's been the pattern. And I think for now, right, it's, if you are trading the technicals, or if you consider yourself a technical trader or even a trend trader, your job is not to anticipate, try not to anticipate when the trend is going to change. Your job is to kind of just monitor things and continue to trade these patterns until they stop acting like patterns. And like, today, This was just the same pattern that we've been seeing. And I've been telling people, I've been saying like, hey, you could scalp to the long side a little bit, but you got about 15, 20, anywhere from about 15 minutes to about, 45 minutes. And then because we see this do we not see this like almost every day where we see this little bit of a pop in the first 15 minutes and then it's gone?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
So
nothing holds. The dips don't hold, the rips don't hold.
yeah, so you could complain about this, I do that too. That's fine. Or you can just kind of think, hey, this is what the market is right now. You got about 15, 20 minutes. Usually on the open, you could even buy some things pre-market and then just sell out of them, around 10 o'clock. Or, if you really want to play that game with the last piece of the trade, around like 10:20, 10:30. That's it. And like AMD is a good example. Name. And this has been happening with names that get upgrades. Like there was not out of consensus, but I think it was Bernstein that came out with an upgrade on AMD. This thing ran.
That was the big rating in the morning. I think because they were a long time bear.
Right. So the way to think about that is differently than what you've probably thought a couple months to a couple years ago. Is before it's like, hey, you got a nice analyst upgrade. This may be a name that I want to position in. This is a name to scalp for the first 40 minutes of the day. I laugh because it is what it is, right? And I think it's important to realize like where your resistance is. And this was something that we were talking about, in my trading room, saying, hey, scalp opportunity, but you got to be really quick. And resistance was at 118. Right. And we're seeing this like all over the place in growth names, by the way, not just names that got upgrade for the day, but it will rally right up until like a resistance area and it just can't turn the corner. So that's a place like, the way that you got to think about this too is like, okay, if you position around like 115 and a half, somewhere around there, or even 116, you got a couple bucks and you just take the couple bucks and put it in your pocket and realize there's nothing more to the long side that's going on in this market right now.
So where are you seeing these moves top out at? Are they at particular levels consistently, or is it inconsistent like that?
On my chart, so I use volume at price, and I use an indicator called the market webs, which I'm looking at a short-term chart for. This is Live Nation. This is a stock that I like, and without getting a little bit too off topic, but this is like a name that once things settle down, I really want to be positioning in. It's just a matter of patience, and it's a matter of monitoring and watching names, putting together a watch list, and just really realizing right now, this current second, that the market doesn't like these stocks right now.
I'm glad you mentioned Live Nation.
Yeah,
because the reopening trade.
Mm-hmm.
Was hot. I say was because that was last week. I don't know if it still is anymore, but
yeah, but still, you gotta. That's a great point. And I'm watching things like Marriott. Right, Marriott had a nice breakout last week. It's just no follow through, but it's still in an uptrend, and I'm just gonna kind of wait on it. I have no position. I thought about it I put on a quick trade last week, and I got stopped out of it, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm too early in this trade. So I'm compiling watch lists, and saying, hey, something's going on here. People definitely want to get away. I know this because the airline tickets are astronomical if you've looked at it for an airline ticket recently. But that shows right now, I guess, jet fuel's up too. So you got to keep that in mind. But people want to travel. So it's just not, the trade's not ready yet. So that's where the monitoring comes in. And you asked me what time frame. I really like to look for, on my charts, I like to look at the 1 hour chart because I could see when the trend is starting to reverse or, starting to change. Right. And if you notice last week, and Live Nation is a little bit, I believe, more expensive than a hotel name. But it ran right into that resistance where it needs to turn the corner. And it's just not ready yet. It's stalling. It stalled at 120, which is what's called the top of the value area. So it could not break through, and it tried that 3 times last week. And then this morning it tried it again. And it went right into 119.27. And you can see, you got one of these candles, which we're seeing an awful lot of that, right where a name is supposed to turn or, right when a name starts to bounce a little bit, by the time the candle closes, and obviously this is a 1 hour chart, so you got to wait a whole hour, but you can see they're just getting rejected. So what I do just to kind of follow the exercise out is I have an alert at 119.26, and when that goes off, if I decide to take a shot at it, it's going to be a starter position. And if it doesn't work, or if I decide not to take the trade and it starts to move back down, then I put the alert back at 119.27. And that's a lot of what I've been doing the last couple of weeks, is saying, okay, I'm interested in this name. Here's where potentially I would look for this to kind of break out of a short-term move and start to kind of go after it. And if it doesn't work, then I just put the alert right back and say, okay, and it's a great way to kind of say, hey, I'm watching this name. It's not up on my screen, but I've gotten an alert there for when it starts to kind of move. And then, you could kind of go on and do some other things. But alerts are really helpful, because a lot of times too, they take the emotion out of the equation to say, like, okay, well, it's not there yet. I'll just continue to wait. I don't have to watch it on my screen. But so yeah, I mean, that's the drill right now, and patience is the word to be using right now.
What other stocks are on your radar here besides Live Nation?
Yeah, well, and I think that this market right now, you can be active on the short side while, and if that's not for you, then that's fine. But if you're okay playing both sides of the market, I think so there's one relationship that I'm watching right now in terms of long short. And right now, and this is a group that I played about a month ago, which was the vaccine names, right, which are in a downtrend now, right? Here's the chart, which is kind of a messy looking chart. But we know that this is below the 200-day moving average. And by definition, names that are under the 200-day moving average, I try to look for shorts, and I stay away from on the long side. And right now, this kind of pattern that's going on in Novavax is starting to kind of break. And I think that it may start to kind of trigger the next leg down in the stock. And if you go through some of the other vaccine names, they kind of look similar. They've got a similar look to them. We'll wait for this, but here's BioNTech, which again, like, it looks like the same exact thing, right? Leg down, it's consolidating, and sometimes we get that consolidation for a couple weeks. And if it helps you, you could do this. If you're if you're always used to looking for, looking at uptrends, right? So here's your break above the 200-day moving average. Of course, I'm looking at this name inverted, right? And here's your digestion, and it looks like it's a continuation in the trend. It's got to take this out, but so that's, if you're not used to looking at names to go after on the short side, put the negative sign in front of the symbol, and it kind of helps you a little bit, right? And that's the same thing going on in Moderna too. But I like the first two a little bit better. And this name reports earnings this week, so I like those two. So that's on the short side. And I think on the long side, again, it's the long side, and anything that's a little bit growthy is tough. But I'm watching what medical devices are doing today. They're up, and that kind of makes sense to me if, which we've been seeing now for a while. So I'm not saying anything that we don't already know, but the COVID cases have been going down. There's less COVID cases in the hospital. So possibly they could start doing more of those like elective surgeries, and the medical devices, which is also in a downtrend, which is tough for me. But I'm watching it. And what I'll start to do is, like, I'll go through the group to see which names are acting better and which names are in uptrends in the medical device group.
Well, didn't Medtronic report, or they report later?
Yeah, and that's a little. I think that's fueling because they're up.
They were this morning.
Yeah.
I would love your thoughts on Roku, Christian. Roku's up. It's up 8% today. It's holding up. It's holding up more or less. But I would love to know, like, you know what I want. I'm coming at this thing. I'm trying to fade this move. So how would you go about fading this Roku move here?
Yeah, so this chart is telling me a couple things, right? So we have one of these virgin point of controls taken out on earnings, and it's bouncing up a little bit. So either I'm thinking that this resumes its trend to the downside too. It may continue to kind of it might fill this gap. And that would be a great place to short, which is 147. It may not be strong enough to fill the earnings gap. So this was something that's funny because I was looking at this too. And I was saying, geez, this thing's up 8-9%. I don't see any news on this thing. So, and I don't have a level to say, oh, 126 is the place where this should stop. So, what you could do is basically say, okay, use the high of the day. And if it gets back to the higher of the day and takes it out, that's your stop for a short. But okay. I do like this as a short too. But I'm not sure that this name can't rally a little bit further, even though, you look and you're like, geez, up 8%. But make sure that you're looking at the last couple of days to see what a big move to the downside this thing was.
Yeah. All right. Any questions for Christian? Drop them in the chat. We will spend the next few minutes going over whatever you all want to talk about. Jonas keeps asking about Continental. Jonas, are you referring to Continental, like the tire company, I think, and they trade OTC. They trade OTC in the U.S., so they're very illiquid. But I don't know.
Continental Resources, CLR.
I don't know what he's talking about. So, Jonas, clarify for me what you're talking about, because there's more than one Continental.
All right, so I have a question for you, right? So this is an energy company, I believe. If it is kind of Continental Resources, right? So this is the thing that always gets tricky about these geopolitical situations, right? You see all these headlines going on, and you're like, oh, geez, that means there's going to be nat gas involved, energy stocks, but it looks like if you notice the price action for today. And this is just one name in the group, but I always start with the ETF, right? So look at what the ETF is doing today. It opened up on the highs and it's down 2%. It's actually down, I think, about 4% from the open. So to me, when you have when you have a geopolitical situation that we have on our hands right now, it's very difficult to really understand what's going on. We don't know, nobody knows how this is going to play out. But I do look for clues, and I look to see, especially in something like this, I look at the price of oil, which is still up for the day. I look at the price of what nat gas is doing, and of course I look to see what the VIX is doing too, which is hanging around 30, and also this tells me that if energy stocks are selling off. Right, it's perhaps giving us a little bit of a clue that maybe this isn't as extreme as what the headlines are indicating in terms of long-term implications in terms of equities. Because I think if you look at, for the most part, some of these geopolitical escalations that we've seen in the past, usually, and again, not always, but sometimes there are short-term impact on the stock market. So when I see energy stocks all down on the day, it tells me that this could have been more of, this we heard about this possible invasion going on for what? I don't know, a couple of weeks, was it?
Oh, a month at this point, more.
Right. But the same relationship is always, what I always see in the market is buy the rumor, sell the news. So it could be, I don't know if this move down in energy stocks is telling us that that this escalation may not be a big deal. Or it may just be that this was another buy the rumor, sell the news type event, because the stocks were doing very well leading up into this. And now that something is actually going on, they're selling off. So that's the relationship that we see in trading over and over and over, is buy the rumor, sell the news. And it kind of feels like a sell the news move today.
All right.
One day's not a trend, so we'll continue to watch.
I'm down with all that. Yeah. No, I like how you don't assume, so you went to energy, but you didn't assume oh, this is good or oh, this is bad. You just kind of let the chart tell you what to think.
Yeah, I don't argue with price. I try to let price be the number one indicator of what I'm doing because I don't have that edge. I'm not in the boardroom or wherever they're talking about their
Right.
the next move that is going to happen. But I do think price knows, right? It's the same thing when a name, before it reports earnings, right? Or it will give you the price will give you the information, and I don't argue with price, right? And I see a lot of people, that on Twitter, because Twitter is a great judge of sentiment, but I see a lot of people like just arguing with the price all the time and making predictions. That's not for me. I don't have any edge in trying to predict how this is going to work out. But I look for clues, and I really kind of judge what I see in terms of the price action. And the price action, and again, it's about being observant, not just looking at one area of the market, but you got to look at a couple different things. That's why I mentioned the VIX too. The VIX isn't indicating that by any means that we're out of the woods. The VIX out of 30 is telling us we've got volatility. We've got short-term volatility, and the market is moving very quickly. Right?
Yeah. Yep. All right, let's do some tickers here from the chat. Someone asked, let me find who. AC asked about Ford. What do you think on Ford? Besides the fact that I have a Ford.
Yeah.
And it's pissing me off right now, but that's a conversation for another day.
Since this thing broke, I've been watching this one too. I looked at this on Friday because I think that there were some headlines on Ford on Friday. But since this thing has broke, right, back in the middle of January, I have not found I've been watching it, but I haven't been interested enough to get back involved because I was trading this thing too when it was making this move. But I have not gotten back in because I have not seen this thing turn the corner to get me interested in this. So if I go to the 1 hour chart, because again, I was looking and it was like, I don't understand. I think the headline was on Friday that they were spinning out their EV.
No, it wasn't. It was that they have talked about it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sorry.
It's not even we're spinning out. It's like, oh yeah, we've thought about that. It's come up in conversation once or twice, but
So I would be more excited if they said, "Hey, we're rolling out this product or this truck." No, we're just we're thinking about spinning this out. To me, and again, I let the price action judge for me, but I'm like I don't. That's not really exciting enough for me to go long. So I looked on Friday, and here was the candle on Friday, just like we were talking about with a couple of the other stocks that I mentioned with the Live Nation and so forth, right where this thing needed to turn the corner, right? So it did get a bounce, but it was short-lived, and it went back to 18. So it's a great question. What I'm looking for, it's still above the 200-day moving average, so it's not a completely like lost cause here. It could get down to the 200, but I've got to see this thing. I'm always waiting for the confirmation. And just like we looked at Fridays on the 1 hour, it never gave the confirmation for me to be like, hey, go after this thing. Maybe it's going to turn, fill the gap on earnings. So I don't think it's there yet. For the shorter term, I could watch something like the 20-period moving average. I would like to see this thing and start to turn the corner and get it back above the 20-day moving average, right? I like to see that confirmation that the buyers, the big buyers, the institutions are coming back in the name. And as of now, I don't see that yet. But I like that it's still above the 200. So, and then this will be another place to watch to see if buyers kind of come in and start to get involved in the name again.
Please, Neo. Marie in the chat wants to know about Neo, not the person, the company.
So Neo is another one too, where let's go back to basically November. Right. So November, it started to, that was the last time that that was flirting around with the 200-day moving average. Since then, it's been moving in a trajectory that is down. And every time it comes to, there's probably some news about deliveries or something in here. Great one-day candle, but as we know, one day is not a trend, and it could not break back to the upside to the trend. Also, the last couple weeks, this was a little bit of a bounce. So again, we can bounce in downtrends. Well, it had that bounce and downtrend, and it just wasn't able to really kind of retake any of anything that would kind of reverse the trend to tell me that this is more than a bounce and a downtrend. So it's been faded the last couple days, and we have no confirmation of when this thing is going to stop going down. So again, one of these things to continue to watch. I would be watching it for the downside. 1894 is a place for a short to take some profits, but in terms of to the upside, there's no reason to get involved in this name yet. It's not doing anything that is special.
That's how I feel about like 9 stocks out of 10 right now. There's just no reason. There is no reason to get involved. Even the ones that I like even the ones on my list. I've got Unity that I like, and I like Shopify, but like I am not buying that stuff right now. Even though I like it, and I people that know more than me about the business, they like it as well. People that I trust and whose opinions I value, but there's no sense in buying it now. There's just no sense, even if you love Neo.
I mean, there's like, sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No,
you're absolutely right. There's so many stocks that look this way, right? And they're not finished going down yet. And we don't know. Like, you could bring out your crystal ball if you like to try to predict when that's going to happen. But looking at the price action, these things are not done going down yet. And listen, I hope it's sooner than later. But the more that you could sit on your hands with this stuff, watching these names in downtrends, I just think the better that you are, so that when you are starting to see things, more than a 1 or 2 day bounce, you can act appropriately and be fresh and be ready to go. But I just don't think that we're there yet. And if this was a great question that came out from my trading room over the weekend, somebody said, well, how do you know a stock has started to really make that turn, right, and is acting better? You could go back to any time frame where we've seen a correction. I like to always go back to the 2020 correction, and you look at what happened when we were hitting the lows, when the S&P was hitting the lows, right? And here's one good name, but you could go through various different names. It's nice little homework to do, right? But when we were doing this, right, and you could see how bad this was looking for the S&P, right? Take a look at, so we finally bottomed at 323. Right, Tesla, which made a huge run, right? When this was going down, when the S&P was going down, I think this is right around in here, right? Notice what this was doing, right? It started to go up. First of all, it never really broke its trend. Tesla didn't, but you could see it started to kind of methodically make what we call, higher highs and higher lows, right? So, in my opinion, it's not about catching the absolute low. What difference is it if you catch this versus if you kind of, instead of being so worried about being early, right? There's an old saying, of course, that I would rather be right and a little bit late than being being wrong and being early, or being early and being wrong. So the other thing to look at too is you can look at you can look at a relative strength chart. Tesla was starting to really outperform the S&P if you look at a relative strength chart, and you could see that something was going on there, right? So I talk about the 20-day moving average, right? So here was the 5-day moving, because we were above the 20-day moving average, but here was the 5-day, right? Here's when the stock got above the 20-day moving average, right? So whenever I see this, and when I'm looking for bottoms in stocks, right? So yeah, you missed some points here, but this is what I'm looking for, is this whole move. So I could care less about this tiny little move. What I want is this in my trading, right? And I want to do that over and over. So I don't care about the first couple points, right? I'm looking for this big move. So that's all about waiting for the confirmation. And of course, this was I'm cherry picking, because Tesla was a huge outperformer, but you didn't have to pick the absolute low of the stock. If the stock is really going to do something special, rather than just rally 1 or 2 days, then you can wait a little bit, right? You don't have to be. And I think right now in this tape, sorry to preach so much, but I think that there's still too much FOMO on this tape, fear that you're going to miss out on something, right? If this market is really going to turn around, then you don't need to kind of pick the absolute bottom. What you don't want to do is start getting involved in names that are just rallying for a day, and then you get trapped in a name that goes
like
down.
Like Roku.
Yeah. So sorry to preach, guys.
No, that's okay. Let's just do like one more, Christian.
Yeah,
Let's
I'll be briefer. I'm sorry if you've got more tickers.
Someone can you look at either KLAC or Palo Alto? No, do Palo Alto because they report earnings tomorrow, I think. So
Yeah, well, Clack, this is an interesting. I mean, all these semis, I think I'm watching this group very closely. I'm not positioning in them very big, but I'm watching a Clack. The 200-day moving average, we'll see if it kind of holds this, but I think you need a couple days for that. I'm also watching Marvell. Yeah, I've got my list, right? I'm watching to see if Marvell can hold the 200. I'm watching ON Semiconductor, right? These are all good quality names, but coming in, ON was on my watch list coming into today. Thank goodness I didn't do anything because it's down another 3% today. Right? So they're not down. They're not done yet. What was the one? I'm sorry.
Palo Alto. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one that I'm interested in too, but I don't know. The group's not acting very well yet. So I hope that they report good earnings, and I hope that they get back above the range, right? So what I'm really looking for is for this name to kind of get out of this range, and we've got to see how the earnings report goes. I think they have a good quarter, I'm guessing, but I don't know how the price is going to react to it, and that's the whole thing. So I think the 200-day moving average will be important, but look at what Home Depot's doing today. Down 9% today. So even though now I think they said something about their growth isn't going to be as strong.
Yeah, they said something about their inventory, and they basically said that they've seen a lower demand for do-it-yourself projects at home.
Yeah, but it just tells me I haven't seen a move like this. When's the last time Home Depot was down 9% on earnings? It hasn't been. I checked in my database. I haven't seen it down this much in over 10 years on an earnings. So it just tells me things are too dicey right now to see a Home Depot down 9%. And this was the story, I think, with when Netflix reported, right, weeks back when they fell as much as they did. So this market's not acting right yet. And I think just being patient for when things, and again, like there's, they did come out with bad information. So probably they should be down, but I don't know, 9%. It just tells me that things are going to the downside much easier than they are to the upside. And still, no one's buying this today. In terms of the institutions, when does that happen? So you just got to watch, maybe at 307. So I'll watch what happens when Home Depot gets down here at 307. But, this is for some of these names, it is just a watch to see what's going on.
All right. Christian Fromhertz runs Tribeca Trade Group. Link in the description. Christian, always a pleasure, man. Have a good rest of your week.
Yeah, you guys have a great day. Good luck out there, everybody. And yeah, a pleasure as always.
All right. Okay. Over under. Joe Biden starts talking in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was supposed to start at 1 p.m. Eastern, correct?
This is worse than Obama. Remember, maybe you don't remember this, but when Obama was announcing that we got bin Laden, they were like, "Oh, press conference at like 7 p.m." and he didn't go live till like 10:30. Something ridiculous like that.
I remember. Yeah, I was watching.
It was literally waiting for. It was sitting there waiting for like an hour or more. It was multiple hours. I remember that. It's terrible.
It was May 1st, 2011.
Yes, it was. Good memory.
Thank you.
So anyway, over under in 5 minutes. Biden starts speaking. I'll take the under.
You think he's starting in the next 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
All right, it takes the over.
I say 1:45.
All right.
Or 2 p.m. is probably more likely.
Okay.
Just go ahead and push it back to they can just say, "Oh, we got the time zones mixed up."
The worst part, no, not the worst part, but you have to think about, like, you're right. They said at 1 o'clock, right? Eastern, I presume. Now, the longer he doesn't come on, does the market get more jittery? Let's see what the market's done in the last half hour. Because I was talking with Christian and I didn't really look at the S&Ps that closely here. Yeah, actually, this is interesting. So let me throw my chart here, and it's a little bit busy because I threw up some moving averages, but actually I can get rid of the 9-day. But anyway.
So hey, Elon in the chat saying it was originally 2 p.m. then they bumped it up an hour and now it's.
Oh well, we are making a new low of the day as we speak. So there's that. I don't know. Like, can you imagine if they cancel?
Ooh. Then we drop another % on the SPY.
425 in the SPY if we cancel. Maybe. Anyway, Tim Quast is going to join us in 8 or so minutes. Talk about things from a market structure perspective. He joins us once a week on this show, usually Tuesdays or Fridays. We kind of go back and forth on that. By the way, guys, if you see that link scrolling on the bottom of your screen, that link is a discount code. So that link is in the description of this YouTube video. I'll also put it in the chat right now, which I'm doing. There's the link. It's in the chat now. That link gets you 25% off Benzinga Pro right off the bat. If you don't know about Benzinga Pro, you don't know what it's about, you want to test the waters first, fine. Go to pro.benzinga.com, get a free 2-week trial, check it out. It's got news, it's got research tools, it's got data, it's got signals, alerts, charts, and audio squawks. You don't actually have to be staring at your screen all day to get the news. We will squawk it to you. It's got calendars, earnings, scanners, movers,
unusual options,
always insider trades, always adding more stuff. So seriously, this platform, it's the one that's up on the screen right now, is the core of this company. It is the engine of this company, of our business. Pro.benzinga.com. Free 2-week trial for everyone, but if you want 25% off, get the discount code in the link in the chat. Christian Gallagher says it's great. Don't listen to me, listen to Christian, if anything. What else did I want to add? By the way, guys, if you missed it, I know some of you were there. We had a fantastic Benzinga boot camp on Saturday. I know AB was too busy skiing.
You were on the boot camp, correct?
I was our host / MC. It was a great day. We had, what was it, like 7 hours of amazing content. If you you will not be able to view the recording for free. We do charge to view the recordings for all of our boot camps. So it's free to attend live, but we charge to watch them after the fact. If you want to check it out, just go to benzingabootcamp.com. And then you can get access to our entire bootcamp library. We've done one bootcamp a month, I think, for the last year. So we've got like 12 boot camps. So, we're talking dozens of hours of content. The link is benzingabootcamp.com. I'll put it up on the screen right now, just so you all know that. benzingabootcamp.com. You can purchase the recording there. Check it out. Oh, thank you, Easy Mike. I appreciate that. What else? Oh, yeah, is Unate on the option squawk? Duh. Vape King is asking a good question. Does it have stock picks for the long term? Here is what I'll say about the stock pick thing. Benzinga has other products. If you're looking for picks, we have paid newsletters that offer that. Benzinga Pro itself is just a research platform. It is not going to give you, like, say, here are your picks, right? It will it can teach you how to find picks, but it's not going to like hand deliver the picks to you. If you want specific ideas on the long side, on the short side, long term, short term, there is a chat. There is a chat in Benzinga Pro. We have a community of people on the platform. Free flow exchange of ideas. There's that. But we have paid newsletters. If you go to benzinga.com, just benzinga.com, and you click on the premium button on the top right-hand side of the page, it's orange, it says premium. That will give you access to our page that has our, not only Benzinga Pro on it, but it's got our breakout newsletter, which you got into Poji. It's got our options newsletter. It's got all of our paid products. So if specific picks are what you're looking for, so I would point you to benzinga.com and then the premium button on the top right if that's where you're looking for picks. Kristen says just ask. You can just ask for picks. Aaron and I try to get picks every so often. I'm not every day.
I give what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know if I call them picks. Some of my picks aren't always great.
Nah. So sometimes my tips are.
Speaking of, we should check in on how our 2022 stock of the years are doing.
Oh, I have it open right here.
I know Run is not.
I keep it open on my screen or on my laptop. Let's here. I can pull it up right now if you want. Let's just change the column a little bit so we can sort it by. Let's sort it by winner to loser. Loser. Oh, Aaron, is this true? Oh, Aaron, my friend.
I'm in last place.
You are in last place.
I know. I had a feeling.
You are in last place. We did the Benzinga Live
I went boom or bust.
stock of the year contest, and Aaron Bree. Whoops. Aaron Bree is in dead last, down 40% year to date. Eesh. Where am I? I'm middle of the pack.
There you go. Valet. Oh wow, Valet's up 21%.
Aaron J and Shelly are in the green. Everybody else is down. Oh man, we'll check back on this periodically. What a hard thing. It's still early. It's true. It's still Q1. We got a lot of time left on the calendar.
I'm not worried. Sunrun's about to come back, baby. We're about to run.
Does he look worried to you?
No.
Nah.
Tim Quast will be joining us any minute now. We've got about 15 minutes, and after we wrap, I believe Biden at that point will be speaking. So
yeah, I don't know. I think I said 5 minutes and I was wrong. Clearly, I was wrong. So I don't know. Well, we are streaming the Biden press conference whenever that starts. But after us, of course, is the roadmap every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 2 p.m. right here on our YouTube page. Today they're talking about how like NFT games that you can play to earn money on the blockchain. Also, I think on Friday we're going to be having a special Moon or Bust show because I know the Moon or Bust guys were at the ETH Denver conference last week, and we got a lot of content out of that. So I'm excited to see what those guys came up with. For Friday's Moon or Bust. Speaking of special content, tomorrow is a special day. Once a month, we are doing this new show we started calling the List Maker Show, where once a month we will compile a list of the top companies, assets, people you need to be aware of in a given vertical. In January, we covered alternative investments. This month, we're covering NFTs. And our List Maker show is going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, after pre-market prep, in place of live trading. We'll be doing a List Maker show, basically a 2-hour show devoted entirely to NFTs. What companies you need to be aware of, what NFTs you need to be aware of, what projects you need to be aware of. If you don't know anything about NFTs, I would highly recommend tuning in for tomorrow's List Maker show to be right after pre-market prep and right before this show. So stay tuned for that. Also, I want to plug, you know what we never plug ever, Aaron, is the fact that we do Twitter Spaces.
We do Twitter Spaces.
We do Twitter Spaces probably 2 to 4 times a week. If you haven't checked it out, they get really good engagement, by the way.
I know. I've participated in a couple.
And you've gained like mad followers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. They've never asked me to participate.
Well, we can do one sometime.
All right, me and you?
We can do whatever.
All right. So anyway, if you're on Twitter Spaces, check out our space.
Yeah.
We do them every like 2 or 3 times a week.
At Benzinga on Twitter. Pretty easy.
That's pretty easy to remember. All right. Let's do this. It is 11. It's 11:46 Mountain Time, which coincidentally is where our next guest is coming to us from. How's that for a save? Tim Quast, marketstructureedge.com. Let's give Tim a special intro. Yo, Tim, what's up?
Good to see you guys. Happy Tuesday. You know,
So
it's
Tim,
2/22/22 today.
right. So to recap, Tim still in Colorado, Aaron no longer in Colorado.
Nope, unfortunately not.
Well, it appears your travel worked though, so that's good.
It did.
How's
The plane took off and landed,
Good.
and I'm here in Detroit. Yeah, all good.
I hope you enjoyed the visit to our state. How was it?
I did.
Did you? Yeah.
I
How's the
always
skiing?
enjoy Colorado. It was awesome. I only skied 2 days. I was only there for like 3. I skied 2 out of the 3 full days I was there. The other 2 days I was traveling back and forth. But yeah, I can't get enough of Colorado. Love it.
Glad to hear it.
Tim, last we spoke was Friday, and we were talking about options expiration among the many things that were happening. That's past us now. First off, did you see anything crazy at the close? I know weird things can happen at the close on those options expiration days.
Nothing that surprised us. If we looked at the trends heading into options expiration, so broad sentiment demand in the market was generally falling. There was very little demand for derivatives. Short volume was very high, about 49% of all trading volume. And all of those things are signals that the market's likely to fall into options expirations. And it also means that there's likely to be light demand for new options, which are trading today. So I'm not surprised by any of what we're seeing. There are 2 things that are surprising. Internally, we talked about this in our client services discussion this morning. One of those is how little intraday volatility there is. You would expect with the kind of moves we've seen in the market that there would be extraordinary intraday volatility, and there's not. It's roughly in line with the 200-day average. So let's call it about 2.5%, a little bit better than that. Most people don't know.
Wait. How do you measure that? Is that the range?
So the way that we measure that is we take the composite data for the 500 stocks that make up the S&P 500, and we take an average read of all of those stocks intraday moves from highest intraday price to lowest intraday price. And so the average spread in the S&P 500 is 2.5%, 2.6%. People may be very, very surprised to hear that. But there's a tremendous amount of volatility. Yet that is down from over 3% in the 20-day average. So we actually saw those levels come down. So what would that mean? Well, the only way that intraday volatility comes down is if the number of trades trying to get to the midpoint increases. So that's interesting to me. It tells me that despite the deterioration in the markets, that there's not a rout. We're not seeing a rush to hit the bid or the offer, which is what creates intraday volatility. And so that was a surprising feature, and traders will talk about what that means coming out of options expirations.
Well, I wanted to ask, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Sounds like it's a good thing to me.
I would agree with that, Spencer. I think that's a good thing. I think it tells us that there isn't a lot of panic in the marketplace. It's not like we're seeing, in fact, investment behavior declined last week by about 3%. So what that means is that there was a general diminishing of investment behavior, not a rush to the exits at all. Most of the deterioration in the markets came from the fact that derivatives are worth less than they were before. So if you are uncertain of what the price will be 20 days from now, then the value of the option that you hold to do something 20 days from now, let's say, is worth less than it was before. And so that comes out of the market. And that's really what we've seen. The other little interesting thing to me is that if you look at the 200-day trade size in the S&P 500 and compared to the 5-day trade size, it has dropped by about 10%, from 109 shares to 100. The average trade size in the S&P 500 last week was 100 shares. Here's the interesting thing, though. If you look at the 200-day average number of trades per day, about 40,000, it rose to 50,000. The average S&P component traded 50,000 times a day in 100 share increments last week. That's extraordinary. I mean, you didn't see volume. Volume is not up. Volume is fairly average over the 200-day period.
How can that be possible?
Well, it tells me that the greatest part of trades are handled by algorithms. Over 95% of trades are algorithmic, meaning that a machine is going to manage it. I think we perhaps hit all-time records last week. I'm
trying to understand though, how can the average trades per day increase, but the volume is not increasing?
By the trade size getting smaller. That's what happened.
Okay.
So the trade size.
Aaron, come on, stupid question.
Come on.
So, but it tells you just how there's good. I think there's good news here for traders. It probably means that coming out of options expirations, the market has a chance to recover. Sentiment has not bottomed. Sentiment is our measure of supply and demand. It's at about 5.7 on a 10-point scale. That's still above 5. To us, until that number drops below 5, we haven't gotten through this. But I expect that maybe by Thursday or Friday we might do that. And I think the good news is that despite the shrinking size of trades, the fact that more trades are getting to the midpoint is okay. The bad news is when you have tiny, tiny little trades, anything can destabilize the market and it can go down 1,000 points just like that because there's no size. I'm not predicting that that's going to happen, by the way. It's just interesting data to us. So then what do you do with that, right?
No, that's the question. Is
right.
What do we do? Interesting as it may be, let's turn it into something actionable.
So, here's what I look for. So, if I'm using Market Structure Edge, and I'll share my screen and I'll tell you what I do. First of all, I don't like to trade during options expirations. It's very unpredictable, and you're taking more chances. You should always know that, traders. Don't just trade every day like, today is just another day to trade. You should be very aware of the supply-demand balance in the marketplace and what is occurring. If events matter, the calendar matters, options expirations matter, month ends matter, and then new month, new money. It's the way that the market works. So everything you do should reflect how the market works. So here's what I look at. If I'm going to do it during periods of tumult, I want to find big, stable stocks. So I have a portfolio called Big and Stable, and it's going to look for, I can create a screen. It's going to look for stocks that are spending most of the trailing 30 days at 5. 20 out of the 30 days at 5. Why? Because there's very even supply-demand balance. And I want stocks that are very liquid, $10,000 per trade or more. That puts them in the top 750 in the market. Then I want a supply side that is 48% or lower and trending down. Supply is short volume. So notice that the graphs for this portfolio are dead at 5 with a downtrend in supply, but an uptick right into options expirations. So really, almost nothing was good here. So normally this portfolio might give me 20 stocks. At the moment, it gives me 3, and they're all deal stocks. That's very telling. So the only thing that is worth trading at the moment are deal stocks, because deal stocks tend to be safe harbors. They have a floor. So if you looked at Cerner, you could trade Cerner. Cerner's okay today. You have Citrix Systems in a deal. Nuance being bought by Microsoft. Throw Coherent in that equation.
These are companies being acquired?
Yes.
Why would you want to buy that?
Because if the market is going down 2 or 3%, you want to buy stuff where there's likely to be a supply-demand imbalance. So look at Cerner. It's not that you're going to make much money. You can either sit in cash, or
they're going to trade. They're going to trade at a slight discount to whatever the takeover price is. So
but that doesn't always hold true. So everybody doesn't know that they're deal stocks. All the machines don't know that they're deal stocks. They're just going to look for things that don't have much intraday volatility, and they're going to go trade those. So in periods of tumult, deal stocks tend to move inversely with the market. And there you have it. So, look at Cerner today, one of the very few bright spots in the market. Again, I'm not saying this will produce much return, but traders, once again, what you're always wanting to do is increase the probability that you make money. So we could talk all day about the merits and virtues of NVIDIA, but why would you trade NVIDIA? Right? There's no reason to do it. It might be an awesome business, but it's a lousy thing to trade when the stock market is down 100 points, when the NASDAQ's down 100 points or 200 points, right? And look at supply and demand in NVIDIA. You should always do this. No matter how much you love a business, what determines the price of a stock is the demand for it. And so notice that the demand is falling for NVIDIA. You don't want to buy falling demand. It's like trying to catch a falling knife.
Tim Quast joins us every week on this show, usually on a Tuesday or on a Friday, as well as every Monday on Pre-Market Prep when we have shows on Mondays, to break down the market for us and give us his thoughts on what the market structure is saying in terms of supply and demand. Tim, thanks for coming on today, and talk to you again next week.
Sounds good. Nice to see you guys. Have a good week.
All right, guys, we got to hop because the roadmap is going live at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I have a strong hunch, Aaron, that Joe Biden will also go live at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
I'm going to say 2:10.
Okay.
My prediction.
Before we go, please let me grovel a little bit more. If you would be so kind as to hit that thumbs up for us. You can hit it with your elbow if you want, or your index finger, or your pinky, or your forehead, whatever you want, or your nose. Just hit the like button for us. We'd appreciate that. Also, shameless plug, guys, the Benzinga YouTube membership program is live. Just go to youtube.com/Benzinga. See that join button right there? That big old join button where you just click that. It's going to play a video that you'll be able to hear when my audio is turned on. And hey, $4 a month, get access to exclusive emojis and loyalty badges. We will be adding more. We will be adding more levels. We'll be adding more perks, more rewards as the weeks go on. But check it out. Join the Zinger Nation on YouTube. You too can become a member of our YouTube. All right. That's a wrap here on today's Benzinga Live. Thanks to all of our guests. See that? Shelly in the chat. She's got our emojis. Woo! Emojis of Aaron and myself, among others. Check it out. All right. That is a wrap for us. We are done. The roadmap with Chris Catchy, Brian Moore. Going live right now. We will catch you guys later. We're on a 22.5-hour break. I don't know. I just made that up.
Not you. You'll be back earlier than that on pre-market.
I meant this show. I'll be back in an hour and a half for out the close, but Aaron and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Everyone,
till then,
go look out there. Stay
happy
green, trading. And happy trading.
Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and love.